Hello. Looks like you got your hair done. I love it. All right, welcome back, guys. All right, as you're jumping on, a couple of quick reminders. If you can turn your camera on, we would love it. We love to see your faces, even if you're eating, drinking coffee, whatever it is you're doing. And please remember to mute yourself when you get a chance. Because you guys are early today, I would love to get started. If anyone wants to unmute, you can use the raise the hand button. And I would love to know, the question of the day today is, who is your customer? And then what action did you take from yesterday? So if anyone wants to unmute and share that, what action you took from yesterday, we would love to hear it. And just use the little like raise your hand feature. Dana, you got the green memo. Perfect. I love it. All right, anyone brave enough? I don't see anyone brave enough to raise their hand yet to share. Oh, there we go. Okay, Maggie, I see you. You're first.
Hey, so I signed up on Facebook and I sent out a test, like an announcement of 2 garment pieces that I have in my store. So I guess I'm just waiting to see what the response is to that.
Perfect. And just keep going. Be consistent, right? It's not just one post, but it's every single day continuing to show up and show behind the scenes and do video and the things. So congrats on your first one.
Thank you.
Great. All right. Dino, you're up. We're matching. I like it.
Sorry, so many buttons. I haven't had to do that since COVID. So, okay, you said who my customer is, right?
Yep. And what action did you take?
So my customer is typically that fun, over-the-top teacher that wants to accessorize and have those lightweight earrings, but still be fun, because a lot of the statement crazy earrings are usually really heavy. So we want to be over the top and fun and still light. You agree? Okay, good. And what I took away yesterday was that I'm good enough to be here. Hearing you guys talk that whole time was like really eye-opening for me, because for the first hour I literally sat here and was like, I'm not sure that I should be doing this. Like, I don't have a boutique. I have an Etsy shop and I want to sell in the boutiques. Like, I'm not really sure, but I'm writing notes because this stuff was still really helpful for me. And then like, just the more I kept hearing and taking it all in, it was just like, no, like, you deserve to be here too. And this is something that you can still push and grow and get better at, and it's worth it for you as well. So it just was like eye-opening, feeling like this is it. This is 2024. Like, we got this. So sorry, I took that to a whole meta thing.
Well, I'm so glad that you shared it. First of all, we're matching. Second of all, I think your cat looks like a Maine Coon. And
it's a Maine Coon.
Yeah, so we're relating on all kinds of levels right now. But really, I'm glad you said that, because I think a lot of people feel like that. I'm just curious, raise your hand if you guys have walked in the room and you're like, I'm not sure if I should be in this room or not. I think we've all had that. And I mean, I've battled with imposter syndrome myself in lots of ways. So you're certainly not alone. I think it just is deeply appreciated when you can give voice to that and let everyone else, know that they're not alone too. So couple things. When I think of the word boutique, we use that a lot. It's boutique hub, but there's so much, whether you're boutique or not, you're home and gift, you're children's, you make earrings, you're an Etsy shop, you're a wholesale brand. I think it's a pretty relatable term. We can speak to a lot of people, even if you aren't a quote unquote boutique. So glad you guys showed up. Glad that, you're here regardless if that is not in your name or not. I would also say sometimes in business, the people I learn the most from aren't necessarily in this industry either. They aren't in retail. They aren't in education. I've got some great friends like in the automotive industry and healthcare, people that have businesses not at all like mine, but there's always something to learn. So just being able to show up for the nugget, I think, speaks volumes. Sarah, would you add to that?
Oh my gosh, 100%. I think we all we all are here for a purpose. And you guys, I'm excited to be here today. Bear with me. My voice is wavering. I've got that crud that I forget who was talking about it yesterday. Somebody was saying the crud that the entire United States has. Well, I got it. But yeah, be here as you are, come as you are, no matter where your business is. We always talk about you are growing every single day, showing up here. Don't compare yourself to whoever it is you think is in the Zoom box next to you. We are all here for a purpose. And there's a big plan. And we're starting this year off right. We're kicking it off in a big, big way. And everybody's going to take something from this and build a better business from it.
I love it. Perfect. Thanks again, Dana, for sharing. We've got time for one more. So if you're just jumping on, question of the day is in the chat, who is your customer? And then what action did you take from yesterday? Tori, I see your hand up. Let's hear it.
Hi. Please do not mind me looking like this, Kate. I don't open my store back up until January the 9th. I promised myself I was taking the first week off until my kids go back. And so I'm frumping. I look terrible. I look at some of the other people, you just said not to compare yourself,
We're
but
not
some of y'all look cute as all get out and I look like this. So, but since starting, I never really took too much to heart, and you can slap me on the wrist for this, who my ideal customer was. I just knew that in our town, I knew the women, I knew what they liked, and I just went by that. I didn't really focus on an ideal customer. So I wrote a list out yesterday. I took 8 pages of notes yesterday and
Love it.
but I wrote out a list of 30 different things that I think my ideal customer would like. She's like between her 20s and 30s, sometimes older, because I do have an 80-year-old woman that shops with me on a weekly basis. But she's a mom. I am Modern Mom's Boutique, so if that tells you.
Yep.
But she's a mom and she has kids and she wants to be comfy. She doesn't want to be all feeling tight in her clothes every single day. She likes the looser fit. She likes the mom jeans. She likes the boyfriend fit. Just simple things like that I never really even thought about until y'all said something. So I think that was kind of what I took from that. And I think it really helped me to start planning out what I want to bring into the store once I hit the ground running on January 9th. Another actionable thing that doesn't really pertain to that, but I signed up for retail boot camp and I'm so stinking excited. Like, I cannot wait. I got in on the group. Of course, the first thing I did was like, where's the group at? Where's the group? I had to go find it. And oh my gosh, I started crying. My husband was like, why are you so emotional all the time? Like, you gotta cry about everything. And I'm like, you just don't understand. This feels like I'm on the top of the world right now. Like, this is amazing. So I appreciate everything y'all are doing. And I'm off my soapbox now. So thank you.
Well, I love it. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. I'm curious, you guys drop in the chat if you are jumping in retail boot camp too. You're going to meet some amazing people, both online and when we go to LA together. Those of you who've already been through boot camp, you can attest to that. So I'm super pumped. But Tori, to your statement about your ideal customer, I'm really glad that you narrowed down like that avatar, but keep in mind, you might have multiple avatars. So one of the first things, those of you guys who jumped into retail boot camp, one of the first things we do in layer 1 and module 1 is we do customer surveys together. So we walk through this whole process. After the surveys, we build out your customer avatars. We give them a name, we give them some life, and they can change over time. So just, kind of keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be just one. The other thing I wanted to mention on this, Jeff and Sarah and Beth, you're going to laugh at me because I brought this up in a leadership team meeting one time. But when we were talking yesterday about why your ideal customer wants to shop with you, and Tori, you were talking about your ideal customer wants to be comfortable. So, and when we were identifying the villain yesterday, right? Every person, like their motives behind shopping with you typically will fall in one of 3 categories: money, relationships, and power. Money, relationships, and power. So when you think about why are they shopping with me? Well, how does this how does this impact? I need more coffee. How does this impact money for them, right? So value, the idea of value. The second is relationships. How does this impact the status of their relationship? So a romantic relationship or the relationship with their family. If it's going to give them more time that they can have with their family, that impacts relationship. And then the third is power or status. So when we shop, whether it's for ourselves and it's clothes or it's accessories or it's home decor, everyone is shopping because they want to increase the idea of power or status, right? So if I have a perception that my style is here, chances are I'm not going to go shop with someone who I think is going to lower my status. So if I'm a boutique shopper, I'm probably not a Walmart shopper. There's a difference. I'm going to try to go with someone who's going to up level me. So when Sarah yesterday was talking about merchandising and product photography and all those things, it's so that you can increase that idea of value in terms of power and status, right, in the mind of your customer. So those three things have to be top of mind when you guys are going through your customer personas and you're identifying the villain and you're really working to make your customer the hero of the story. So Tori, spot on. Thanks for bringing all that up. All right. That's it for sharing in terms of raising your hand, you guys. So if you have it up, come back at the end. We'll do Q&A as long as we possibly can again at the end today. If you guys are new today, if you weren't here, just again, quick introductions. My name's Ashley Alderson. I'm the founder at the Boutique Hub. We started the Boutique Hub 10 years ago. This is a family-run business for my husband and I. He's our CFO. He does all the behind-the-scenes things. We've got 3 kids. We literally launched the very first version of the Boutique Hub the day that we brought our youngest home from the hospital. So my kids have been a part of this journey as well. They're 13, 12, and now 9. And it's been just quite an awesome opportunity to get to meet so many of you in person and online. And I just feel so blessed to be able to do this as my life's work because I believe wholeheartedly that when you change a business, you change someone's life and you change their family and you change their staff by giving them a great opportunity and you change the community around them. So that's the big why behind the hub and you guys all get to be a part of it. So thank you for that. Today, I'm so blessed to be joined by some awesome co-coaches with me. So Sarah and Jeff, do you guys want to introduce yourselves again quick?
Yeah, you bet. Hey, everybody, I'm Sarah Burks. I'm the Director of Education here at the Boutique Hub. I came to work here at the Hub in 2017. My store, I owned a store for many years, and we were a member of the Boutique Hub prior to me closing the store and coming over to help build out the education side and build up the community. Like I said yesterday, you guys, I'm an open book. Been in the retail industry since the early 90s. I started working in a ladies' apparel store in high school. Went on to study retail merchandising, get my MBA, do all the things, came back, bought the store, and yeah, expanded into 2 locations, took it online, all the things. I've also taught entrepreneurship at the university. I've coached at a collegiate level. Literally I have done so many different things that I feel has really helped me get to where we are today and be able to help build out education and do one-on-one coaching, teach retail boot camp with Ashley and best year yet as well here about, and my passions, you know, come through with team management, sales strategy, inventory management, merchandising, all the numbers games, all the things. So I'm an open book. I love to, my big passion is to help you guys not make all the mistakes, the tens of thousands of dollars worth of mistakes I've made over my lifetime in the business. So I love meeting with other industry experts and helping bring that knowledge back here to you guys as well. So I'm from Southwest Wisconsin. I'm team rodeo. I'm a mother of 2 and I've been married to my husband who's a SEC football fan, Arkansas. I know there's a lot of Southern people in the crowd today. So just that's a little bit more about me and who I am and what I'm here to do and help you guys. So yeah, go Hogs. I saw some rodeo or some Arkansas people in the chat. That's why I had to say it. So anyway, you guys, I'm so glad to be here. So I'll turn it over to Jeff.
Hey guys, I'm Jeff. I've worked with the Boutique Hub for about 5 years. I specialize in online promotion mostly, online ads, search engine optimization, Google My Business, all the different avenues that are related to somebody discovering your boutique, either online or for a brick and mortar. When Ashley says this is a family-run business, I would have to agree with that. My wife and I asked our son what his best memory of last year was, and it was a vacation with the Boutique Hub group. And so, I mean, it seriously is a family-run business. And I coach Boutique Hub Black here at the Boutique Hub. It's kind of a the next level as far as getting your sales to come through online and getting more people in your store through online promotions. And so through that, we've actually had the opportunity to discover all sorts of different strategies around the retail industry, which is really eye-opening every single day. I swear I get on those calls every week and I'm like, you guys aren't going to believe this strategy. like every single week it's something new. But it's really, really awesome, and glad to have you guys here. And then anything I can do to help you grow your business, just let me know. We'll see you inside Retail Bootcamp.
I love that. You shared some behind the scenes stuff, Sarah, personal. Jeff, you've got to share what you do for hobbies. I always think it's fun to get to know like what coaches do outside of coaching. So what's your hobby?
Well, I've been known to buy a car too. And I've been known to buy a car or two or 50. And then I won't turn down a good athletic challenge, whether it's racing a buddy up Camelback or signing up for a triathlon.
Love that. He's also a crazy Iron Man. I always find that like running is probably the last on my hobby list for sure. So we all live through Jeff a little bit. All right. Also on the call today, just quick introductions. We've got some help from behind the scenes at the hub. Beth, if you want to give everyone a wave, she's running, answering all your questions in the chat today. Bridie is also here with us today. Bridie has been our intern at the hub. She's also Sarah's oldest daughter. So cool to see both of you on. And the rest of our team is in the hub Facebook group. So you guys might notice yesterday we bumped into some capacity issues. So we're streaming this for members of the Boutique Hub today directly in the group. So we'll take questions and answers from there as well at the end of today's session. All right, should we get started?
Let's do it.
Shall we do it? All right, Sarah, you want to go through just kind of some housekeeping and I will share my slides.
All right. Yes, I know some people were wondering, how do I see the slides? Well, here we go. We're going to get started. So day 2, we've kind of recapped what we learned a little bit yesterday. All of you should have received an email with the recording on it. Again, this is going to be recorded. So if you have to jump out today, ideally, this was about a 90-minute session. Yesterday, we stayed longer. People were super engaged, asked a lot of great questions at the end. We love that. We welcome that. So please, if you have a question, be ready at the end. We're going to ask for Q&A time then. So we'll get started with that. At the end of everything, have opportunity to talk to Jeff, myself, Ashley, anybody, on the team. Let's see, cameras on. We love to see your faces, but if you can't do it, we totally understand, but we do ask that you stay muted throughout the session. Just kind of helps with everything and for the flow of things. Please be active in the chat. Go ahead and ask questions in the chat as well, because like I said, Beth is there answering questions. Bridie can jump in and help a little bit too. We are so excited you're here. Like I said, there's no silly questions, right? I promise you, we had over 1,000 people on here yesterday. There's multiple people in this group just like you, maybe just getting started. Maybe you've been in the business for 20 years, whatever it is, home decor and gift, right? We had furniture stores in here yesterday, bridal stores. You have someone very similar to you in this group, I promise you. So if you have the question, I guarantee somebody else does as well. But yeah, today we're talking about the second lever we're going to pull, and the big question of how do I get more sales in 2024? How do I run a more profitable business? Yesterday was all about how to acquire more customers, how to attract new customers, right? I should say how to get those new customers coming into your store. And today we are talking about how to get them to spend more with us. So that is the overall focus of today. All things, it's not just the whole, hey, I need to make more sales. Okay. Noted, but how are we going to do it? How are we going to do it? Let's really think through a process and figure out maybe where our holes are in our bucket, right? Where we're falling short, where we're maybe targeting the wrong people, where we're offering the wrong products. We're just doing it wrong, right? We're going to figure those things out and ask some really tough questions today and again tomorrow to really help you take that business to the next level in 2024.
I love that. Thanks, Sarah. As we look at this again, yesterday, top of funnel, Jeff talked about the funnel layout, right? So attracting new customers, that's the most expensive thing you can do, by the way. Jeff, I'm sure you could elaborate on that. But and it seems like it's a thing we all spend our time doing. We want new customers. We're constantly pushing on social, trying to attract new customers, but it's 10 times more cost effective for us. I think Jeff shared some stats on, 8 times you're more likely to get your customer to repeat buy on your website once you get them there. So the two next pieces in the funnel, the warm and the hot, getting customers to spend more. So really looking at our AOV today, and then tomorrow, getting them to increase frequency. getting them to spend more often. This is a universal truth across all types of retail. This is the really like tried and true 3 ways to grow your business. As we get into it today, I'm going to save this. Some of you printed out the RAM, the retail action matrix. If you have this, save it for the end of today's call. You're going to come back with a bunch of notes today, just like you did yesterday. It's going to maybe feel a little overwhelming. So we're going to use this matrix at the end of today to really decipher between what's priority. I'm going to give you the best return on what action you should take first. So please keep that handy for the end of today's call. All right, so today, if you're taking notes, there's 6 questions we want you to think through today. So if you are big in outlining your notes and keeping them organized, this is question number 1. Sarah, you want to handle this one?
Yeah, you bet. Okay, so here's the big thing. You know, one of the things I like to say is if we're not winning, we're learning, right? Well, first of all, we have to recognize, why are our customers shopping from us to begin with? What is the reason? Ashley kind of talked about some of these things earlier in the introduction, but I just want you to maybe take a note, you know, get your pen and paper out and write down, why do you think your customers currently buy from you? What keeps them coming in? What are the things that you do as a business, as a human, right? That up-level their experience, that brings out the best in them, that you are that hero in their life, right? So these can be things like, you know, you're improving their quality of life. You are the experts in the industry. You might think that's silly. But I forget the name of who was talking about the earrings for the teachers. That's a real thing. Don't minimize what you're offering, because teachers need that lightweight, fun, energetic, vibrant earring, right? I mean, it sounds silly, but put yourself back into the kindergartner's shoes where you're sitting on the couch looking at this teacher like she's the be all end all, like she's the most energetic, fun, vibrant person you've ever seen. You're so attracted to her about so many different things, like you're just a sponge to the information she's giving you. And she's got these fun earrings on every day, right? But that teacher needs them to be able to work with her life. She needs the whole vibe. It doesn't need to slow her down, doesn't need to give her a headache, right? They need to fill a void and solve a problem for her. That's it. So you're the expert in the industry saying, hey, I recognize this is an issue that teachers need. Maybe it's the earring, maybe it's the pants that they can get up and down off the carpet and they can wipe the chalk off of and all the things. It's not a pair of pants. That's a solution to a problem. It's not just an earring, it's a solution to that person's problem, right? So you're the expert in the industry that comes in and educates your staff to be able to sell to this person and serve to them. And that person, that customer, knows, and trusts you. So that's a reason why people shop with you, obviously. That brand trust, that's huge, right? We're going to talk more about that today in this session, about big brands that are out there or big companies that are out there that people just don't trust. So that is a reason they continue to shop with you. Freshness of inventory. This is a big one. Nobody comes into a store and says, hey, show me what is left over from last year. Hey, show me what was big in 2020. People aren't doing that. They are looking constantly for the freshness, the new unique things, right? Another thing on here is a shipping policy. Who here has refused to shop with certain stores because of their shipping policies? That's a big customer service thing for me. I love to know that if I put the confidence and trust in you and have bought something from you, I want to know to be able to track my product from the time I purchased it to it's being packed, shipped, it's out for delivery, and next thing I know, confirmation that it's on my doorstep. So shipping policies, whatever that might be. Top of mind, what's that mean? That means that I don't have the opportunity to forget about you. Just like Ashley said earlier, you're not just posting, whoever said that earlier today, you're not just posting that this or that once. You have to be doing this consistently in front of me all the time. I like to say, some of the best scrolling we all do is laying in bed at night, right? Well, sometimes stores get stuck on posting and scheduling posts during the day. I'm busy during the day. I don't necessarily see it. But when I finally chill out at night, I'm an attractive audience. So being in top of mind, getting in front of your people. The next one, loyalty, that goes, without being said, makes total sense. Being loyal to each other. And then the last one, value and quality. Oh man, that is a big one out there right now. We're going to talk a little bit more about that as we go on today too. But customers are shopping with you because of these things. And value might not be obvious. This is one thing I just want to remind you guys, take some notes of this. Value might not be obvious to the consumer. It is up to us as that hero, right? As the industry expert to express and explain and demonstrate the value to a customer to help them have that confidence in that purchase. Because quality, it's hard to find quality or understand and recognize quality on a website. So that's something definitely that we need to bring forward and raise that trust and raise that confidence in that purchase. And when we do that, that customer will continue to come back with us and continue to shop with us. But if we just throw it out there, black dress, $49, there's not a lot of, I don't perceive the value there, and I don't perceive the quality. So again, when you're looking at reasons that they're shopping with you, think through that. Think through the eyes of the customer. What is it that makes you open up your wallet and check out on an online store, or walk in, walk around, pick up a few items, take them to the counter and check them out, right? Because you understand and you appreciate these things that just are and there's more. And I would encourage you in the chat, if you have some other ideas, these are just a few. If you have some other ideas why people shop from you, that value add, that quality, that expertise, things like that, I'd appreciate you guys dropping them in the chat as well, so we can all see what everybody else thinks as well.
You know what I love in hearing you say that, Sarah? How many of these things does Shein offer?
Well, that's what we're going to talk about here in just a second, right? That's the big thing. That's one of those things that, you know, when we start looking at this, you know, yeah, that's a huge topic today is, you know, because I'm hoping a lot of you guys are thinking about that in the back of your mind, and up leveling who you are and what you offer. And don't put yourself in this box of like, yeah, but I have to compete with the Sheins. Not when you're doing these things. If you decide not to do these things, then you're right. Your competition is Shein. If you decide not to do these things and you want to lower yourself to a price-driven retailer, 100% only, that's a whole nother question. That's a whole nother conversation. Let's jump to the next slide, Ashley. Let's talk about why customers do not buy from you. Okay, so this is a big one. I do a lot of one-on-one coaching, and we hear this inside Retail Bootcamp. In that closed group, we specifically hear this. And even in the main members group, we're seeing this thing where people are like, well, my customers just aren't buying. Okay, so I go back and, you know, I'm going to say we're going to ask some really tough questions first. One, are you confusing your customers? What does that mean? Well, you know, are you that store that like hung your hat on trendy mom clothing? Somebody said that earlier. And then all of a sudden I jump onto your site because I want to be a trendy mom, and I see sequin bralettes and I see, you know, like club wear. Okay. I don't know. That's confusing to me. All of a sudden I'm thinking, wait, what is happening? Why are they offering this? This is not what I've been coming here and being, you know, I've been confident in purchasing here. And all of a sudden I'm seeing a whole different vibe. So, and I don't understand, right? So that's just one example, but confusion can definitely happen in product assortment. Confusion can happen in hours. I talk to a lot of stores that are like, gosh, I don't know. I don't really want to work 5 days a week. I don't want to work 7 days a week, whatever it is. And I totally get that. And so their hours are constantly changing and they're not communicating that properly. Their website might say their hours are one thing, and when you Google them, it's going to say something else. Or their window sign is going to say one thing, and then you get there and they're not open. So that's another way of confusion. Are things consistent? Are things consistent? Is your shipping policy and your return policy confusing? That's a big one for me. I check that out first before I do a lot of online shopping. Number 2, lazy staff. Who here struggles with the energy crisis of the workforce, right? We've all seen it. We've all seen it. And then we've all had those exceptional customer service days where we go in and the staff is just over the moon excited and thankful you're here, very knowledgeable, very educated on the products. They're going above and beyond, as I talk in Retail Bootcamp, doing the unnecessary, undeserving, and unexpected. Those are 3 things when it really comes to customer service. But that ultimately, that lazy staff, I hate to say it, guys, But that's on you as the business owner and what you allow and what you let get slide by. And when you want a day off, you're like, oh, well, that's all right. Susie can take my shift. I'm just going to have Susie do it. But maybe Susie's lazy. So next thing you know, the customer that always buys from you comes in and Susie gives her the old head nod with an earbud in and is like, do you need some help? Okay, walks away, right? That doesn't work. So that's another reason why customers eventually, they don't buy from you. They have that bad experience. Offering the wrong products to the wrong customer at the wrong price or value. This goes back to that glittery bralette thing I'm talking about. That's a huge, huge thing. Offering that wrong product to the wrong customer at the wrong price or value. Think through that one a lot. We'll talk about that more, but this is a really important thing. When I coach about inventory and product assortment and buying and investing in inventory, everything you invest in should have that purpose. And I really coach for you to identify that customer persona and look at a product and say, I can name 3 people that will buy that. I can name 3 of my customers right now that's going to work for. And if you can't, and you're taking the risk on it, you have to be prepared for the risk. And you have to be prepared to offset the confusion that a customer might have when they come into your store or onto your website, and they're introduced to these confusing products. And I understand sometimes we're shifting gears, we see a transition, so we have to make some of those things, but everything we do should be backed by a reason. Everything we do should be backed by a reason. And a lot of times we just make really fast, rash decisions in our business. Some of that too is offering way too many products. We talked about that yesterday. So if you didn't catch that, I talked about, the overwhelm. So, definitely go back and listen to that on the replay. The third part here, lack of trust. That, I talked about that for sure. When you have earlier, when you have a customer that comes in and they do not trust you, there's multiple reasons they don't trust you, right? One, maybe they've found your website, but they don't even know if you're real, right? Who has phoned a friend over the last year in the retail industry to say, or had a friend phone you to say, is this website real? Is this store real? All the time. I mean, especially over the holidays, I had friends and family messaging me that all the time. Sarah, do you think this is a legit site? Actually, let's check. Do they have a return policy? Do they have an about us section, right? Do they have reviews? There's different things that you can do to double check, right? But lack of trust is a really big one. It holds people back all the time. Shipping options, same thing. So, we talked about that a second ago. Not providing enough inventory to get a full outfit or to get your free shipping, not sure how to wear it or style it. Those are big things. Right now, as Bridie knows, I'm in the market for a Mother of the Bride dress, right? Congratulations, Bridie. But I love going in and looking at websites, but nothing drives me crazy more than when I go to the dress section and there's literally 2 dresses there. Or I go to the shoe section and there's one, and it says shoes, and I get there and there's 1 pair of shoes. To me, that's just, it's not enough for me to fill a cart, right? Or to take that risk, because I ultimately want to get to that free shipping threshold, or I want to make it worth my time, my value of shopping with them. So that is one thing. I'm going to take that a step further. If you have that one dress and you're a brick and mortar store, you're not going to put it under a big sign in the corner of your store that says dresses. And then there's literally 1 there. So think about that as we talk about inventory crossing over and how we merchandise it on our website and in our store. That's a little side note. And then don't understand the value, but call it price. That's so people get stuck on a sticker, but they don't understand why it's priced that way. Like, what am I getting when I buy these $120 pair of jeans? Why don't I just get the $30 pair of jeans? They don't understand the value. And that comes back to us and how we're offering the product and how we're educating our customer on the product. So those are a few of the reasons why customers don't buy. And so when we're sitting there talking about, gosh, I just need to make more sales. I need to make more sales. I really encourage you to go back and look at some of these different things, some of these different reasons, and say, you know what? I'm guilty of this. I put Susie on the payroll way too much. I give Susie the best hours of the week and she's not converting. But damn it, it's easy for me to say, Susie, have this day because I want to take a day with my kids or I want to do something else, right? It's really important to look at these things and say, all right, where am I winning and where am I learning when it comes to why are my customers buying or not buying? Because like Ashley mentioned, people want these three things. They want these three things. They want money. They want the feeling of that freedom that, the more cash I have, the more freedom I have, right? The more prestige I have, that status and power, and the more healthy relationships I have, and I feel more loved and I feel more appreciated, these things. And so often, whether you like it or not, humans go and buy things to help them make them feel this way. Enter your business. How are you helping them with this? How can you provide one or maybe all three of these things to your consumer? Every marketing decision you make, every purchase you make, every investment into your business, every staff you hire, we need to be recognizing these things, and we need to say, all right, our sales are down, our inventory is turning slower. We must not be doing these things. We must be leaving something on the table, and somebody else may be capitalizing on that.
So true. Sarah, you know what popped to me in all of these things? I think this was so helpful. But I would just want to echo, like, one of the most common mistakes I see is people not really thinking about, again, going back to the ideal customer and how does it affect these three things, and instead just chasing what's the popular product on TikTok this week.
Yeah.
And I feel like with everyone kind of looking the same, we almost have an industry full of just product flippers. We're just trying to flip a product that we think is going to just sell through and make us a quick buck, rather than being brand builders. So do you want to be a product flipper or do you want to be a brand builder? I think that's going to be a huge shift for the next year, is we have to build brands that really serve that ideal customer in order to maintain longevity in our business.
Yeah, I see that a lot. And I'm sure there's people on the call that would say they have found themselves with racks full of inventory that didn't sell, and they say, oh, I need to go back to market, or I need to jump back on a platform and buy new inventory because it must just be the wrong inventory. Instead of learning from those unsold products, learning to figure out why did they not move? What were myself or my staff or my brand not doing? And how do I improve that before I go spend another penny on inventory?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, costly lessons, but so good.
Yeah, so good.
All right, let's jump on to the next question, third question of the day. And you really have to get to the first two to get to the third one, right? So why are people buying? Why are they not buying? Because then that's going to answer this question. What is your AOV? You guys drop that in the chat. I would love to know, and separate it for online versus in-store. What's your online AOV and what's your in-store AOV? Curious where everyone's at here. And we're going to talk about how to find that number, how to increase that number. But I also want to start, as you guys drop this, if you've been through Retail Bootcamp already, you know I'm huge on the boutique traffic formula. I should have put this on this slide and I didn't, so I will type it out, or Beth, if you want to type it out and drop it in the chat. This is why your average order value is so important, okay? I just want to give you math. You can run this math with your team if you want. Again, we're not just chasing sales, as Sarah said, but we're chasing these other numbers that impact sales. Sales are a lagging indicator. A lagging indicator, meaning it's telling you, your sales are telling you what you did a week ago and a month ago, and your sales are the result of it. So you really have to find what are the numbers that are going to be my leading indicators and tell me where am I going to go next month. And the leading indicators in our business are traffic, our average order value, and our units per transaction. Those are leading indicators. So if you have staff and you want to incentivize them with anything, it's those three numbers. So here's how they work together and why they're important. And then we'll dig specifically on AOV. So the boutique traffic formula is this. You're going to take your sales number, however you want to slice it by a time period. So your sales for the year, your sales for the month, your sales for the week, your daily sales goal, whatever it is, pick the time period, okay? Take your sales divided by your average order value, your sales goal divided by your average order value, and it's going to give you the number of orders that you need, the number of transactions you need in that period of time to hit your sales goal, okay? The second step would be, I take my transactions that I need divided by my conversion rate, my average conversion rate, again, online and in-store, probably going to be different for you, And then that's going to give me how much traffic I need. So Beth's dropping this formula for you guys in the chat. You can just copy and paste it. But the reason this is so important is it gives you a direct correlation between how much traffic I'm driving from my marketing, all the social media we talked about yesterday, directly tied to what is my average order value, what we're about to talk about. And those things, along with our conversion rate, are going to really help us know, am I going to meet my sales goal or not? Now, that's not taking into account inventory on hand and sell-through and markdown, Sarah. That's a whole nother conversation, right? But this is such a great framework for us just to go, oh, crap. This average order value that's below $50 should be a major red flag. The average order value right now that's below $60 should be a red flag, right? Because we've got to get that up to $100. Otherwise, we'd have to drive buttloads of traffic in order to hit whatever our sales goal is. So the name of the game is, how do I take this AOV and really increase it? Because it's going to decrease the amount of traffic I need to hit my sales goal. Are we all together on this? You guys good with the formula?
And
I
love it seems a lot of people know it, know how to figure it out. Love that. I want to just say, everybody defines success in their business different. So when you sit down and set your goals, set your sales goals, and maybe you're running a very part-time business and you work full-time and this is a side gig that you're hoping to eventually build up, or maybe you always want it to be a side gig, whatever it is, maybe you have that in your back of your mind. Your sales goal is $10,000 over the next year. Okay. And if that is success to you and that's what you want, more power to you, 100%. If you want multi-million dollars, more power to you. There you go. But these numbers and figuring out some of these formulas really gives you those, am I winning? Am I on track? Am I working towards that goal? Or am I way off and I'm just blowing smoke and saying, well, this is what I want to do, but then really have no radar on it, no tracking on it. No, you don't know if you're fast approaching it or if you really need to fix something. And that helps you make all these investment decisions. It helps you know how to market. It helps you know when to staff, all of these things, when to run a sale, when to run markdowns. All of these things are so important. And one of the things Ashley always teases me about is I love sports analogies, because I just love analogies, because that's the way my brain works. So, and as Bridie's on this call, Bridie was a big track athlete in high school, and cross country was one of those things that was a long game, right? Jeff coaches cross country. So you can't just come out and say, hey, this is what you want to run your cross country race in, and never time it, right? You have to time it. You break it down by mile. You break it down how fast you're getting up the hills. You break it down, all these things, and say, all right, this is part of the long-term race, and this is where we really need to improve, right? We can't just at the end of the day or the end of the year look and be like, oh, nope, guess we didn't reach that goal, without knowing what practices do we need to implement, what strength training do we need to do, when do we need to, work on X, Y, and Z to get us to this goal, or where are we falling short? So figuring out just simply this AOV really should be eye-opening to you for that, because, hey, do I have the opportunity with the hours that I'm putting in, with the hours that my store is open, with the products that I have, to reach the sales goal? The other thing, when you look at this, if your average order value is, say, $100, when you look at a customer come through the door, you're like, cha-ching, that's a $100 bill right there, 100%. And if I let her go, I just let $100 go. And when you start taking that personal, you all of a sudden start realizing that's my $100. Do you think that when you talk that way to Susie, that the next time, I come through the door, Susie isn't going to be like, hey, there's a $100 bill right there. And then if I shop with you 8 times a year, I'm not just $100 bill, I'm $800. Because if you screw it up once and I lose confidence in you once, I didn't just lose you $100, I lost you $800 for the year. So that is where all of this stuff really comes to play. And if you guys are like, oh my gosh, my head is just blowed up right now, I don't understand, or that's a lot. This is why we teach Retail Bootcamp, and this is why we do these more in-depth calls and Botica Black and all these things, because it's too much to talk about and really get into on just one webinar like this. But getting your mind in the right state to be thinking through this. Like, it's not just a number you're putting down there. It means so much more to that in the long-term game to reach those goals, right? So that's why we're just trying to open everybody's mind to this and try to put the pencil to the paper and come up with some of these numbers.
I love that, Sarah. Thank you. Amen. Lots to cover. So let's go here next. How do you increase your AOV? Let's just talk about some quick strategies on what really helps to get that number up if it's maybe not where you like it, because now you know it impacts everything about your business. And this is a really easy lever to pull and maneuver in your strategy. So first thing, we talked about this yesterday, number one way to increase AOV is your merchandising. You've all heard the saying, you will sell what you show, right? And you think about that black dress Sarah was talking about earlier, and you're like, man, why hasn't this dress sold? Well, it's because it's actually been buried under, some random pile of crap in my storefront. And I posted it one time on Facebook on a Tuesday morning 2 months ago, and no one's seen it since. But I'm just hoping someone's going to come across my website and find it. But the truth is, we sell what we show, right? So when we think about the frequency we're posting on social media, we got to increase the frequency of what we post. We have to have, a live video showing multiple pieces. We've got to have an email that shows a collection. We've got to have carousel posts that we can swipe through. We have to have, when we're doing, whether it's you're styling a vignette, like a display for home and gift, you got to show the whole thing together. What does it all look like together versus just one product at a time? If I'm showing a black dress, I'm also showing the shoes and the jewelry and the purse and the accessory and the candle that's going to set the mood that's going to go along with the black dress. So the more you can put pieces together, because again, as a retailer, your gift is curating pieces that fit really well to solve a problem and achieve a goal, right? Your customer doesn't have that gift. How many of you guys that sell clothing have a customer that comes in and says, I'll just take the whole mannequin. I'll just take the whole outfit. And they're like, I don't want to think about it. Just give me the whole thing. Whatever you wore yesterday, Ashley, I'll just take the whole thing, right? That happens all the time. Same with home and gift. I am not very great at decorating my house. I just struggle with it. I have a great friend who is, and she has a home and gift store here in town. So she's going to come over in the new year and redo my entire basement for me. Like, God bless her. And I'm going to tell her, like, okay, that thing there that you have displayed in your store, I just will take the whole thing because I don't want to mess with it. So that is your gift. So when you're doing fit videos, try on sessions, live videos, Instagram stories, TikToks, Reels, YouTube Shorts, all those things, show the whole thing, merchandise it. That's the number one way to really work on upping your average order value. The second thing I would say is, what is, those of you selling online, what's your free shipping threshold? What's your free shipping threshold? That's a really easy lever to pull. It should be at least 10% over or more what your AOV is. Okay, so I see someone who just said 50. Thank you. So if your free shipping threshold is $50, what's the incentive for them to spend more than that to bump up your AOV? There is none, right? So your AOV, I'm going to guess, is probably under $50. So if you're wanting to get that AOV to $100, then our free shipping threshold should be like $125. So that's a really easy way. Just bump it up, because how many of us, just like Sarah said, I'm not going to put anything in my cart if it's just one thing. I want multiple things because I want to get free shipping. It's easy math that we like to explain to our husbands, right? Jeff, does Robin ever do that to you? I spent a little bit more so I could get free shipping. Duh. Why wouldn't I do that?
And my marriage is kind of the other way around. I explained that to her.
Perfect. I needed all the upsells and the add-ons to this car, right?
That's right.
All right. So free shipping threshold, easy. Add-ons and upsells, that's a third way that are really easy. God bless, I've got 2 daughters that really like skincare all of a sudden. They make me go to Ulta and Sephora all the time. Anybody else? Why? I don't know. But when we wind through the checkout at Ulta and Sephora, guess what happens? They pick up like 4 more freaking things that they really don't even need in the first place, but I'm a sucker and I buy anyway. They get me every freaking time. So we learned this, growing up, going to Claire's, and you get to the checkout and you're like, buy 2, get 3 free or whatever it is. And you're like, oh my gosh, more Lisa Frank earrings. I can't even handle it. But you buy them because you want the deal. So what is your add-on and upsell offer? Whether that's digital and you're using like Honeycomb or whatever Shopify app you're using, or if you've trained your staff to do this in store and you have an offer right at checkout that's going to increase that average order value. Collections to me really tie hand in hand with merchandising. So we talked about the small business marketing bundle yesterday and like all the lists of collections that are in here. That's a really great way to bump your AOV because again, what you sell is, or what you show is what you're going to sell. So if I can solve people's problem by launching a group of products together in a collection, people are going to buy multiple items, right? Last year, Nashville collections were huge. Anyone that was going on a trip to Nashville, which is the new Las Vegas, we all know it, they aren't just buying one sparkly cowboy hat, they're buying 3. And they want to see all the sparkly cowboy hats in your Nashville collection. Sarah owns like 7 of them, I know, and the sparkly bralette she was talking about. I think I've seen it. So they're going to buy all the things in your collection. So making sure you're using collections to solve problems. Sarah, you talked about rewards yesterday. Reward programs are another great way to increase AOV. And then finally, bundles. Bundles, especially, how many of you guys did bundles over the holidays? I'd love to know in the chat. Bundles are a tremendous opportunity to increase AOV and your UPT, also to move unsold inventory, things you just need to push out the door. Bundles are really great ways to get those things moving. And that's definitely going to bump that AOV up. Mystery boxes, yeah, absolutely. Perfect. So all kinds of opportunity to increase that AOV. When you do that, again, traffic that you need goes down and you're going to get to that sales goal faster.
One thing on this, Ashley, is just, inside of Boutique of Black, we really struggle with AOV because you have to have a certain amount of order value to pay for the ad. And so it's unbelievably critical. And so, one huge difference that we've seen is something you guys have really been hitting on is one of you guys talked about merchandising and the other one talked about collections, but those boutiques that focus on style, like an outfit style, like styling, their AOV is significantly higher than a boutique that's trying to sell one shirt at a time. And so that's one thing that we've seen on return on ad spend is if you focus on the style, your return on ad spend will be dramatically higher.
Perfect. Sarah.
I love that. And I want to say, you guys are not in the business of selling one item at a time. Nobody is, really. When you think about it, name me a business that is successful right now by selling just one thing. There isn't. Everything has a add-on to it. Everything has a upsell with it. Everything. And it can be as simple as, well, heck, you can't even buy a house without getting the insurance. You can't buy a car without getting, whatever, fill in the blanks, all the little bells and whistles, add-ons, all the things. You can't go to Walmart. Who could possibly go to Target or Walmart and buy one thing? Nobody does it. It's just impossible the way they have it, the store set up, all the things. So think of yourself that way, right? Like, don't allow the one item purchase in your business. You're not going to tell the customer, sorry, I'm not allowed to sell you one thing, but talk and train your staff and think about it through that merchandising perspective that you are not in the business of selling one item at a time. That's exhausting, so exhausting. And it makes it so much harder to reach your earning potential and your goals and be able to afford the ads and be able to afford the lights on and be able to pay yourself when you literally have to work twice as hard if you are making a goal of selling one item at a time. So I appreciate you saying that, Jeff, because when you think about that, like, how do you afford these ads and how do you make that ROI worth it? It's because of the upsells and the add-ons. And when you can sell the image, the whole collection, the whole vibe, the wardrobe itself, the solution, like, there it is. I know exactly what I'm going to pair with what, and I've got it. To Ashley's issue about the home decor and gift, that's how you make the money. Right? And that's how you really serve the customer. And that's how you keep that customer then from jumping over to somebody else's site and potentially falling in love with them and their offering, because you really needed more than just the one item. So you're cheating on that store and going someplace else. So, all right. So let's jump into question number 4. And that is, what is your assortment mix for 2024? So let's go ahead and just answer this and throw this out there, because I know everybody's thinking about it. Because I see this constantly. How do we compete? Right? With the Sheins and the Temus, all the things. Well, I guess I kind of alluded to it earlier, but I would start by saying, where are their weaknesses, right? I'm a basketball coach. I'm going up against, I'm just going to say it, Cuba City. They're a big rival of ours down here, or Lacrosse Aquinas, Ashley. And the first thing I'm going to do is, as a coach, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch game film. And I'm going to recognize their strengths and their weaknesses. And then I'm going to look at my strengths as a team and my weaknesses. And I'm going to say, how can I double down on our strengths and really break them down at their weaknesses? How can I communicate that to my staff? How can I communicate that through my branding and my marketing and make it completely known to everybody that this is what Sarah's store is and what we operate on, or how we operate and how we serve you? And I'm going to hit some of those pain points that people that shop with Shein are concerned about. So that's one of those things, you know, how are we serving them and how are we innovating? And I'm not taking on Shein head on like that. They are my biggest competition, but we can't ignore them, right? We have to innovate. We have to adjust our business, but we damn sure are not going to say, well, now because I feel like they've got the price thing figured out, I've got to go on price too. No, that is not what we need to do. That is one of the biggest mistakes that we see businesses doing all the time. So I see them, they've got, feel like maybe an opinion out there is they have the corner on pricing. All right, fine. Do they have the corner on quality? Do they have the corner on trust? Not in my household, they don't. I don't know about you guys. But those are two things right there, two really big things that, because my customer is who my customer is, those things are important to them that I know I want to double down on. So when I go to Magic in Miami next week, or I jump on Hubventory, these are some things that I need to consider. I need to consider the value of my products, right? The assortment, the uniqueness, all of those things. I need to keep those things in mind when I'm thinking about my assortment mix for 2024. So with that, I would just ask, and I'd love to see in the chat, what makes you stop your scroll? Really, like when you are sitting on the couch at night, and I mean, maybe right now you're just scrolling Facebook while you're listening to me chat right now, but what stops your scroll? What is it that gets your attention? And I'm going to go back to what Jeff just said a second ago. I guarantee you it's when you see those ads that are all merchandise, that are unique, that are energetic, that are enticing, right? They're not a boring little flat lay. Yeah.
If you were to look at the data, Sarah, the answer, whether people realize it or not, the answer is vulnerability. The brands that are willing to make themselves vulnerable, the ones that are willing to hop in front of a video camera and say, I know I have a tummy, but these jeans do a great job making me look great. Those are the ones that stop the scroll. And like, that may be the hardest thing to do, is get in front of your phone and film a video like that for a product. But guess who doesn't do that? Amazon doesn't do that. And Temu doesn't do that. And Shein doesn't do that. They'll never do that. And so just keep that in mind. People relate to vulnerability far faster than any other emotion.
For sure. For sure. And something else, like, you know, let's talk about the sustainability factor, right? The ethics factor. Shein and Temu, there's so much concern about this. And is it a big issue to your people that are 100% price driven? You can answer that question. I'm not sure who your customer is and where they fall on that. But there's a big group of people out there that shop that are concerned about sustainability. They are concerned about the ethics behind products. And we know this because the industry experts are telling this is becoming a huge conversation in 2024. So if this is something that is passionate to you and it's passionate to your customers, be vocal about it. Go ahead and have that tough conversation, right? Set high standards for your business. I think we've got a ton of information coming down the pike in 2024 about this. Magic is going to be doing a lot of educational sessions about it at their major markets, which means it is definitely top of concern for lots of people. So definitely something to keep in mind as my voice is going to go. But something else, always one resource I want to just remind you guys as Boutique Hub members, and it's going to be coming out here, I believe on the 22nd of January when we do our Hubventory Appreciation Week. We do a trend report every single season where we work with industry experts, what's trending, what's going to be hot, what are the things that people are really looking for in the industry. And, what are those things that you're seeing in fashion, obviously, but in the media, in movies, on our celebrities, all of those kind of things, but also just real day-to-day, everyday trends. So we put out a trend report, and that ours is coming out, I believe, January 22nd is what I heard. So you guys as hub members definitely be looking for that. But these are all things that you want to have a purpose behind what you're investing in, right? For your business. You are the investor of the products. I, as the consumer, am the one that ultimately is going to buy it for life, right? I'm buying it to hold on to. You are just investing in it to invest in it low, to sell it higher, right? To make those margins and to make that profit. So when you're doing these things, really think through and what is the purpose behind what you're investing in, and making sure to have that increased AOV, that increased units per transaction, your product assortment, you need to fill certain buckets. You can't just have a store 100% full of one type of product. You really need to make sure you have those add-ons. You have some of those impulse buys. Ulta, how many times have we talked about Ulta today? I would love to know what the percentage of inventory is that they have in the checkout lines, the impulse buy lines, how much inventory they stock right there in those small products. But that dang sure adds up to get the free bathrobe or the free eyeshadow or the free whatever it is that gets them to the unit per transaction that they need as a company to reach their sales goals.
And they get me every time.
Yeah,
All right, before we go on to question number 5 and question number 6, you guys, a couple quick things. I see a bunch of questions about Retail Bootcamp and about Boutique Hub Black. At the end, we've got 2 questions left, and then we're going to do Q&A, and we will answer all those questions. So those of you like, send me info, we'll answer your questions. So we're gonna, like, Beth's fingers are on fire typing. You're doing such a great job, Beth. Thank you for that. We'll come back and we'll answer all those. Those of you who are watching in the Boutique Hub group, keep your questions coming. We'll do Q&A in just a little bit. I see lots of comments happening over there. And also, I forgot something, you guys, at the very beginning of this. So yesterday I told you we had lots of giveaways for showing up today. We have the iPad, we have a speaker. Speaking of Ulta and Sephora, Hadley handpicked and did a haul for you guys. I won't tell you what's in the bag yet. You'll have to find out. But what do you guys want today? We gave the iPad away yesterday. We announced our winner. Should we do speaker today? Speaker? Brittany won the iPad. I love it. Okay, we're going to do this. So remember, you have to tag the Boutique Hub and AJ Alderson on Instagram. Just take a picture. Let us know what you're doing while you're watching Best Here Yet, what you've learned, what you've implemented, any of those things. Perfect. And we'll do this giveaway. We'll announce the winner when we're doing Q&A at the very end. All right, on to it. Last 2 questions. So we talked about that boutique traffic formula a minute ago, how AOV is really associated with that. Hand in hand with AOV is, what is your units per transaction? What is your units per transaction? So how many products are actually going to be showing up on that ticket, along with what is that average number? So we talked a lot about in the last 2 days collections and how helpful they are. Again, people don't want to just buy one thing. They want to buy multiple. So when we have those collections, we have a huge opportunity to sell multiple pieces at one time. So really quick, if you were going to do this, if you think about 52 weeks in the year, what are 52 different reasons people might buy from you? Those all can be different collections. So here's some that, are coming up right now. How many of you guys have made a peach fuzz collection so far and shown your customers, oh, this is how I would incorporate this strange color name into what I'm selling right now, right? Customers want to know. There's the trend, and then there's your customer, and your job is to bridge the gap. How would my customer use this trend? So when I think about mapping out, I'll just say social media content for the next 3 months, this is definitely a part of that process for me, is when I map out and I say, okay, here's all the events I'm going to circle that I'm going to do in the next 3 months. And I'm going to work my way backwards, and I'm going to map out my emails and the Facebook event and all the things that I need to promote. I, at the same time, would go through every single week over the next 3 months and say, what collection am I really pushing right now? And it's no different than those of you who have a storefront and you have that front, right, and center vignette and display. It's the first thing people see and they gravitate toward. You put your highest price items right when your customers walk in and go to the right, because science says that's where people will touch and buy first. The same is true on your website with your collections and in store with your collections. People are going to buy more and more often when you're using those to buy. Something else I wanted to mention when it comes to UPT, second thing is replenishable goods. So how many of you guys have something in store that is a replenishable good? Sephora is a good example, Lisa. I see that in the chat, right? If I use moisturizer and I run out of it, I'm going to need to buy more. I have a favorite candle. I buy it at a local boutique here called Shiny Objects. It's in a salon called Moxie. I buy the same candle multiple times a year. When they're out of my scent, I freak out. I've got to go back and buy more, right? It's a replenishable good. So when I have things in store that my customers fall in love with, mixology might be one for you. Mixology, all the scents, all the lotions, the tanners, the things. My phone's blowing up with comments. What is it that gets my customers back in? And it's going to increase my UPT and my AOV because they have to have that product. So paint, I see this. I love that. So many good, jeans are a replenishable good. Tanner, if you live in the Midwest, is a replenishable good. We all could use a little bit more of that, right? So there's opportunities there to increase that number. Third thing I wanted to mention when it comes to UPT is how can we incentivize our team with contests around UPT? So tell me in the comments right now, what is your main go-to for incentivizing your team when it comes to your sales? It's probably more than just the sales number, right? Oh, my sales goal this month is X. When we think about UPT, this is a really easy thing to measure, and it's a great way to have our team have a little competition with one another. So who had the biggest fish, right? You could do biggest fish contest. They have the biggest receipt. They hang it in the back of the room. It's either the largest order or it's the most units per transaction. It could be a messiest dressing room contest, like which of your staff gets people to try on the most things, right? If you sell clothing. What are the opportunities to just get your customers to see and touch and learn about multiple products, and then to incentivize and train your staff around all of those items? So all kinds of opportunity with UPT. All right, Sarah.
All right, so here's a big question, last question, but what we want to talk about is how will you maintain your margin so that you can pay yourself more? So we're getting in these new customers, and now we're saying, all right, we want them to buy more products in each one of their purchases, but it's not about just saying, all right, we're going to give them all a big sale in hopes that they buy more, right? Because if you do that, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, yay, great. I just sold a bunch of products, but your margins are suffering. So this is where getting to know your numbers really, really comes in. And I mentioned it earlier, Ashley did too, that one of the biggest mistakes in our industry that we have seen happen is trying to compete on price. And that is not where we want to be. We don't want to be the cheapest place in town, right? Because as Ashley always says, cheap ain't loyal. That's not enough to hang your hat on. I have worked with so many stores that say, one of the first things I'll ask them is, why did you want to get into this business? Because that why, the story behind your why, is the ultimate roadmap to everything that you should be doing, right? So as soon as I hear somebody say, well, I wanted to offer a cheap and affordable place for my friends and family to shop, I instantly get this pit in my stomach. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a tough one. Because if that's really what you wanted to do, define cheap. What is that? I mean, cheap can go down to a penny, right? That's not sustainable. And describe affordable. What does that mean? Those are two very wiggle words, really, that you cannot really set goals with. So we cannot be that business that just wants to compete on price, because there's always somebody that's going to have more buying power than we are, more leverage than we are, all the things. That it's going to be super, super hard long-term in this long marathon of business that we can compete on. So right there, the big one, pricing for profit. Pricing for profit. And that gets into the fourth one here, how margin must also factor into a markdown strategy over time. I promise you, you are going to have to run a sale at some point. You are going to have inventory that just simply did not work. You are going to have inventory that is left over. You're going to have an investment buying mistake, whatever it is. Every business, every retail business, homes down to Sephora, down to cars, to farming, to whatever it is, they reduce prices at some point. There is some need for a price reduction. So therefore, we have to set ourselves up for success in our pricing strategy. We have to price for profit from the very beginning. We have to realize that there's a chance that we're going to have to discount something here. So our pricing for profit, our margins have got to be at a point where we can afford those markdowns. We can afford to pay ourselves. We can afford to pay our bills. We can afford to do all these things, but it has to be built into our price. That's just the way it is. Now, I know there's a lot of arguments out there and a lot of talk right now and a lot of really very scary things coming from TikTok about how they are taking a loss on the sale of products to gain customer exposure and to win trust. Guys, they're doing a volume that you cannot compete with. So where you can play that game is when what we call like our loss leaders for like, your big events where you are potentially willing to take a loss on certain products to sell the bigger products. But that's part of your pricing for profit strategy. That's part of the psychology behind how people buy. And I know this, I get really excited about talking about this, and we go into this a ton in retail boot camp and things, but just keep in mind that when you see something and you invest in it, you bring it into your store, whatever retail price you put on that, there's science behind it. And you have got to be able to afford those markdowns, because otherwise, if you don't, you will never be, at the end of it, you will never pay yourself. So, and I talked a little bit about it yesterday. I coach a lot to profit first planning, meaning whatever you take your profit first, and then the leftover is what you spend on your bills and all of the other things, right? Because if you give yourself a smaller plate, you'll manage what's left on the plate. But if you give yourself the big smorgasbord, right, the whole plate full, you're going to use all that, and what's left over, you might get second best for sure, less than that. So making sure you're building that profit into your pricing is super, super important. How else do you do this to maintain your margins and to really make sure you're able to pay yourself? Guys, review your expenses. Analyze cost management. What are you spending money on? Analyze those things. What is the return on those investments? I will say, staff, be careful. And we coach deeper to this, but if you cut your staff, you're potentially cutting your productivity as well. That's extremely risky. It's extremely risky because, again, yesterday I talked about that plate that you carry on. You're only physically able to energy-wise, as time-wise, all the things, you're only able to do so many things in 24 hours. So cutting your staff back is cutting your productivity. But with that cost management and reviewing expenses, something I want to make sure everybody is aware of, especially you hub members, you have thousands of dollars worth of perks and benefits to you as a retailer through your hub membership. So if you are using Sezzle, make sure you're using it through your hub membership discount. If you're using Comment Sold or Management One, or you're looking for Shopify help, or you're looking for ads management help, all of these things, if you are using QuickBooks, if you're using Shopify, like I said, all of those things, make sure you are using your hub membership to its fullest, buying off of Hubventory. Hubventory offers a ton of discounts to hub members, everything from percentages off to free shipping. All of those things add up to your bottom line, really improves your bottom line. So I don't know why anybody would do business without being a hub member, but I'm just reminding you that this is part of how do I get to pay myself? How do I make every dollar coming into my business worth more? It's by taking advantage of the things that are right there in front of you. So just as a couple things where to start, definitely look at your pricing strategy. Look at your pricing strategy, and then look at the benefits and the perks that are available to you in the industry, especially through your hub membership, and take advantage of them.
I love that. Sarah, there was a question that came through, and I just want to call out on that. There's a few of them. Just a standard, can you talk about markdown process a little bit?
Oh, sure.
Showing when do you actually take the markdown and how much? I think there's a lot of people wondering if there's a good formula.
Okay, so here's my thing. Is there a good formula? Yes, but I want to just give you the caveat to say, if you get something in and it sucks, it feels bad, it doesn't fit right, it's not the right fit, feel, or function, I always give it, if it receives 2 of the 3 Fs, the fit, feel, and function test, and it fails those, and this goes for home decor and gift too, if the colors aren't right, if the print's off, whatever it is, get rid of it. Do not wait 6 weeks to start marking it down. So just know that there's going to be those times. First thing first, try to send it back. If the vendor won't take it back, if they refuse to return it, then let your consumer know why you're dumping it. Let them know why you're marking it down, so they don't all of a sudden think, hey, Sarah marks things down as soon as it gets in, as soon as they get it in. No, make sure you're educating them. So that's scenario 1, but I just want to say, I know that happens a lot. So if that's the case, don't let that thing die a painful death waiting for it to get worse on your shelves or in your store. So let's talk about the products that just didn't sell. Let's talk about the products that you got in that like you liked them. Certain people liked them, but you just have a few left over, or whatever the reason is. I always say, learn from your mistakes. Learn, why did it not move? Did you not show it correctly? Did you not merchandise it correctly? Did you get it in at the wrong time, right? Did you get bathing suits in Wisconsin in November? Whatever it might be, is the delivery time wrong? Answer all those questions, but then if it's been there 6 weeks, it has got to make a move. I love to look at my products after 2 weeks, and if it has not moved at 2 weeks, I really want to start asking myself why. Maybe it's not time to mark it down yet, but it's damn sure time to re-photograph it, re-merchandise it, re-present it to my crowd, to my customers, to my audience, re-educate my staff about it, so it becomes top of mind. So then at that 2-week, 14-day move, I'm positioning that thing in a better light, so it does have the opportunity to sell again, right? So then at 4 weeks, I've analyzed it again. Hopefully I've started to sell through some of those things. And by 6 weeks, I'm pricing that thing out to move. So getting aggressive with those markdowns early is really, really important. You can also, no, to answer the question, I'm sorry, there is not a tried and true formula for 30 days, 20% off, 60 days, 50% off. If you run your business like that, you're going to leave some opportunity and price on the table. But I would assign a time of the week for you to really analyze your inventory and your aging reports. And if you don't do it, having one of your staff do it, but also just, keeping that pulse on what's moving and what's not, and what is about to go stale or expire, where the demand is, and take action on it. This is a huge part. This is a huge part in Retail Bootcamp. And I know some people are going to say, they think, well, actually, I just see it, 6 weeks seems short. This is just it's a guide. This is not 100% standard. Depending on where you live, you've got to understand that we have stores in the industry from all over the country. Swimsuit season in Wisconsin is not swimsuit season in Miami. So the 6 weeks, what I'm saying is, you need to keep an eye on your products and get them to move fast. The faster they move, the faster the cash comes in, the faster you can invest in something else, the more assortment you have, the more a customer wants to continue to come in over and over and over again. If you wait to turn your inventory over every 3 months, right? Every 3 months, that means now I don't come in but once every 3 months to buy from you. If your inventory is turning over every 4 weeks, all of a sudden I feel more compelled as a loyal customer to shop with you more often. So that is why it's really important to keep an eye on those things, and keep that. If you need to mark them down, if you need to reinvent them, make them new again, whatever it is, that action has to be consistent.
So good, Sarah. I just want to echo, I know you said this, to answer this question in detail, like this is it's its own hour-long training session in bootcamp. How do we price by asking the question, what will my customers pay for this, versus a formula, all the way to what's my turn rate per department category? Like we've got to get to that granular level, because like Sarah said, everyone's different. Every store is different. Home and gift is drastically different than apparel when it comes to this. Your turn rates look much different, right? So how do we squeeze the most margin but also get the most cash immediately versus that whole like murder your price tag scenario where you're just taking 20 and then 30 and then 40% off and just hoping someone will buy it at a discount when really you should have just slashed the whole sucker 50% off to start with, got the money out because cash is king, so you can quickly reinvest it in something that is going to be a winner at the end of the day. So lots to talk about on that. But again, that is its own whole session inside of boot camp.
Yeah. I just want to add for all of you guys that have the Boutique Boss Planner, these things are amazing when it comes to numbers and margins and tracking what's working and keeping up with these things. But I just want to remind you, for all of you with the Boutique Boss Planner, when you turn to page 24 and 25, this is the spreadsheet where you can come in and start tracking your inventory sales versus inventory on hand. So, and the formula is right here for your growth rate and your turn rate. But what this is telling you in the Boutique Boss Planner, and you calculate this every single month. So it's at a glance, you're able to see the health of your business and the health of the inventory and how it's working for you or working against you. So to say my sales are up sounds great, but when you start tracking how much inventory it took you to make those sales, and you start noticing where your profit margin really is, that's when you become the absolute best investor of inventory for your business, that best buyer, because the inventory that you are investing in is turning fast. It's turning at a healthy rate to get cash back into your business. Because guys, as a reminder, you cannot pay for your light bill with your inventory. Nobody is going to take a pair of jeans in exchange for rent, right? They want cash. So you can only pay for your expenses with the cash that you get back out of your inventory. So this is one reason why we built, and this is just one of the tracking sheets, your sales versus the inventory comparison.
Sarah, can you mention what page that's on?
Yes, 24 and 25.
Okay.
Yep, 24 and 25 of the Boutique Boss Planner.
All right, those of you who are asking about more training videos on the planner, I know, Sarah, you and I have it on our books this week to get a few more videos out just on how to use those reports. So look for that on the Hub Social. We'll probably put it on our YouTube channel as well. And I know there's a whole, what's it called? The Planner Toolbox.
Yep.
It's membership on the dashboard that already has a bunch of videos in it on how to exactly use all the formulas in there. But again, those are all retail bootcamp things that we teach as well. All right. It's question and answer time. I know we will have lots of questions about numbers today, and I will absolutely nerd out. Sarah will nerd out. Jeff will nerd out on all of this. So let's dig into it. Before we do some questions and answers, you guys can put your hands up or drop them in the chat. Sarah, do you want to talk about this, the RAM real quick? And then tomorrow, those of you guys, please show up tomorrow, last day, best day. We will start the day tomorrow in detail on the RAM. I'll share it on my screen. I'm not able to share it quite yet. Do you want to discuss this quick?
Oh, yeah. Oh, shoot. We don't have it up. Okay. Yep. Hold on one second. Let me go ahead and pull it up, and then I can kind of share, just because I'm sure there's people that don't have it in front of them.
Okay. Perfect. As you're pulling that up, let's just start with a couple questions and answers. I saw some boot camp questions coming in, so I put this on the screen. If you need the link, a couple of overview pieces of boot camp. How does it work? So we teach boot camp. It's a live group coaching program. It's online. It's not in person. You don't have to travel, although you can come to our retreat in LA in September at the end of the year. We coach boot camp twice a year, once in January, once in June. It's 14 weeks. And it's a component of two main things. So first, you'll get a login to Kajabi, where all of the videos explaining your turn rate. Here's the picture on the screen, just took me by surprise. Old Bernie Sanders is popping in. Do you guys remember when that meme was popular? Did anyone else do that meme when it was like going around like wildfire? Cracks me up. Okay, so on Kajabi, there's all the training videos, all the templates, all the downloads that go through the 6 layers of business that we talked about yesterday. So everything starting from the foundation, time management, CEO, building a team, profit first, managing inventory, content, marketing, sales, all the things. That's all in Kajabi. And you're going to watch that at your own pace. We go at the pace of 2 weeks per layer. And then every single Wednesday, Sarah and I go live, and Jeff and Shannon, to coach on exactly what you learned and how it's relatable to right now, this day, what's happening in our economy and our world immediately. And then we do all the Q&A, and that's every Wednesday at 10 a.m. is how that works. And then we're big on, it's not always what you know, but it's who you know. So we have over 50 experts that have joined us and will continue to join us inside of boot camp. There's a module inside of Kajabi that houses all of our past experts, all of their trainings. There's some amazing people in there that I'm starstruck by still to this day. And then we have new people coming in every single Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time. Everything is recorded. So if you guys miss a session, life happens, we get it. You can come back and watch it at your pace. There is a workbook that goes with boot camp. You guys will have access to that as well, a private Facebook group. And we just try to make ourselves as available as possible to answer all those questions. Jeff is in retail boot camp. So if you like to nerd out about all the things Jeff nerds out about, Facebook ads, SEO, Google perspectives, really any digital marketing, all of that is inside of retail boot camp, and he comes in and helps live. If you do the VIP version of boot camp, you get one-on-one trainings with Jeff specifically, as well as some small groups along with that. Those of you asking about Boutique Hub Black, Jeff, I'm going to have you answer some questions on that. And then we'll jump back to Sarah with the retail action matrix. Boutique Hub Black is something we would recommend. First, you have to be a member of the hub to have access to it. And typically it's those who have already gone through boot camp, or you are working with an agency and you're driving a ton through your Facebook ads manager. Jeff, is there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. So specifically people that are looking to grow their in-store foot traffic with online promotions. And so like how to get more people through your store, or people that are ready to dive into Facebook ads, or maybe you think you might be ready to dive into Facebook ads. Or if you have an agency that you're shelling out some crazy retainer and you would rather bring that in-house, that's typically who jumps into Boutique Hub Black. And so Beth, if you'll drop my Calendly link, if you guys just want to have a quick consult on Boutique Hub Black, I'd be glad to run a page audit and see if it'd be right for you.
Oh my gosh, the more Bernie Sanders memes are dropping in the chat. You guys are killing me. I love this. Jeff, thanks for dropping that on Boutique Hub Black as well. Oh God, where did I just see this question I wanted to answer? Oh, difference in boot camp versus membership. So if you're someone who's like, oh, I would like to pick one, but I can only pick one, not the other. Here's the difference. Boot camp is like strategy that is going to tell you step by step by step, we're going to walk through your business in this fashion to achieve this goal. And it's going to be Sarah and I and Jeff helping you do that live, as well as these trainings. So it's very structured. Whereas membership it's a monthly membership, but the focus is on community. So you meeting all kinds of other amazing retailers. Our training, we do training in the membership every week, but it doesn't go in a structure like retail boot camp does. So there's trainings on all kinds of topics, but you get to pick and choose and do those at your own pace. And they aren't as detailed as retail boot camp, I would say. And then also that comes with discounts that we talked about, hub inventory that we talked about, all those other things. So hopefully that helps kind of tell the difference. All right, I'm going to quit sharing my screen. Sarah, you ready? Oh, you're muted, Sarah. You want to share the RAM quick, and then we'll do Q&A, you guys.
Actually, if you can go back on the slide, if you have your screen shared, I just I inputted it into the slide.
Oh, perfect, thank you.
It's trying to be crafty.
Oh, I don't see it, Sarah. There we go.
Yeah, back. There you go. Okay. All right. So what this is the retail action matrix is something that we came up with as a way for you guys to kind of look at what is your get back out of your the action items you want to take. So throughout this week, I know somebody's probably laughing like now, like really 4 action items. Those are, I'm supposed to narrow this down to 4 projects, 4 action items. But the idea, guys, is one bite at a time. You cannot take on every single thing and implement absolutely everything that we've talked about this week in Best Year Yet. The challenge would be for you to go ahead and run this matrix. Maybe you're going to run it on 8 or 12 different things, but understand, like when you put these in order on your project, right? You're going to look and say, what is the cost impact negatively? Like the negative number, the negative dollars there, cost impact, that the cost is the negative. What is my time impact? How much time is it going to invest me? Where am I coming back with my soft return? Is there a soft return, like that soft ROI? Something that maybe I don't tangibly measure, but we know it's returning for me. It's bringing my business some value. And then what is a positive cash return for me? Like what, when I scale these 1 through 5, right? When I scale these on a rate, what am I looking at? It's funny when I just noticed this, that we have 5 options and four returns. So maybe that is 1 through 4, but what is that looking like for you as far as where do I want to focus, right? To help me realize, like when I look at these things, what is the highest return? When I set the goals that I want to choose, what has that highest return with the minimal impact? So it's just a way for you guys to kind of put together a little visual of the outputs that you're putting out there, energy, costs, all of those things, and see what my returns look like.
Perfect. Thanks, Sarah. This is all just kind of so you guys know where this came from. We were hosting our mastermind retreat in last September, right outside of LA. And we were talking about just the status of overwhelm and burnout and all the things happening to our industry. And we put up, you guys have probably seen that very simple square matrix of doing what you love and what you're good at doing versus what you don't love and what you're not good at doing. You can probably Google that. There's a million of them out there. This was kind of our own spin on it because I know we all have so many things that we think are priorities and we think are necessary, but they aren't always that impactful when it comes to either a cash return or a soft return, and they come with high impact. So hopefully you guys print this out and you can use this in your day-to-day along with your planners just to get more done. All right, Q&A time. Let's do this. We will start with, and if you guys are in the boot camp or in the hub group, drop them in the chat, and Sarah and I are both watching, and we'll ask questions from there as well. Okay, Mel, we'll start with you. Oh, did we lose Mel? Are you there? Okay, we'll move on. Natasha, you're up.
Hi, I'm brand new here. I own Shop Raising Arizona. My question was, I am sort of in a unique niche because I buy wholesale items from like popular brands, like returns. And so I feel like I'm known as the affordable boutique. And I'm just wondering, like, my mind's going a million miles per hour. Like, should I be doing this or should I do something completely different and just stick to like buying wholesale and then reselling like items that I personally pick out? And then my second question is, I would like to have collections and drops that I specifically get to choose the items, but now that I'm known as the more of like affordable boutique, are people even is that gonna confuse people now? So I'm just wanting a little guidance.
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in on this. So I love the business model. I know that is. I love that too. I love that. All right. So Natasha, yes, you can build a model, a business that way for sure. You just want to be mindful. And when you are buying that inventory, you still want to be making sure your pricing is profitable. So your customer does not know how much those items cost, whether you're buying it from last year's stock from someone, or you guys are going to Miami Magic or onto Hubintory. Your customers do not know the investment price of your business. So what you're choosing to turn as the retail price really is more about what you think your said customer will pay for it. So and as we look at that product assortment, if you've been in inside retail boot camp, you know we go over this, but you have certain buckets you're going to fill, right? I give the gas station analogy. A gas station cannot run out of gas. If a gas station runs out of gas, they won't sell candy bars, they won't sell cigarettes, they won't sell, Fireball, they won't sell any of that other kind of stuff because they've run out of the key item that people go to them for. Now, however, when you buy beer at a gas station, their profit's not there, right? They're not making a ton of money on the 6-pack of Busch Light that they sold. Where they're making it is on these other products, but they are offering that as an upsell. So it's one of those things when you guys put together your product assortment, whether you're buying overstocks, Natasha, from someone, and you're getting those at a rate that you can still mark up and make a profit on, great. If you have to offset that with some higher margin items, that's putting the pencil to the paper to kind of understand, you know, where your opportunities are. But you see it, you see businesses all the time running a model like this, but be prepared if your margins are really low. You're putting yourself in a box where you can't do a lot of discounts and you have to increase your volume.
Okay, thank you.
I hope that helps.
Perfect. Natasha, your hair is stunning. I love that.
Yes, I agree.
I love it.
Thank you.
All right, Jolene.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm a little different because I'm not just a boutique. I do handmade leather work and I build tack and horse equipment. So the audience that I'm trying to target is the rodeo audience and horse people. And I don't know how to target them as far as Google Analytics and getting people to my site. I'm mobile, and that's great because everybody knows me and I've established trust and I have all that, but I don't know how to run ads. I've tried to run ads, but I think the reason it doesn't work, I've even gone so far as to hire an advisor that helped me, and he gave me stats and keywords and things like that for equestrians. And if you know about the Western industry, we have zero in common with equestrians aside from the horse. So I can't target my own people. I don't know how. The only thing that I've done that's worked somewhat is Facebook groups. Other Facebook groups, like I'll look in sort of like yard sale sites, but they're resale groups for horse people.
Yeah.
But that's not really my people either. So I don't know how to, I do have clothing and shoes and all that, but that's not really what I want my emphasis to be on as far as brand recognition.
Yeah, you're in the right spot. So Sarah and I both are team rodeo. We have kids, horses, we've rodeoed, our kids rodeoed, the whole thing. Jeff wants to be on team rodeo.
Yeah.
He literally did just come to the NFR with us, weeks ago. So you're in the right spot for that. I could talk about organic content all day long. I know there's a lot of other Western people on here and horse people. I also have to call out Rebecca, who's in the hub group watching. I did not know she sells like horse boots for performance horses. I think I need to like hear from you, Rebecca, if you're still watching. Jeff, will you answer this though, specifically on ads, and Sarah and I can jump in on the rest?
Yeah. So, I guess it's been about a year ago now. Facebook launched their Advantage Plus campaigns. And so, inside of Google Ad Manager, we have access to like 60 different parameters on targeting, like 60, but Facebook has access to thousands and thousands and thousands. They know who your audience is. And when you launch a video or some sort of engaging content inside of those Advantage Plus campaigns, you can let that run. That will get in front of your correct audience, and then you can remarket to those people that engage with that content. And that will develop a very specific audience for you. It's kind of a two-step process, but that's how you would want to do it.
Okay, so how would that transition to Google Analytics?
So,
I'm interested in doing that, but I hate to start investing my money and target the wrong people.
Right. So you would need your Facebook pixel installed on your page and your GA4 tag installed on your page, so that when those people come to your page, not only are they filling up your Facebook pixel, but they're also, all of that data is jumping in or dumping into GA4, so that you can say, oh, look, this person's from Hertford, Texas, and they were interested in, like, I literally just walked through a bunch of these booths. I really don't know anything about any of this, but they're interested in a turquoise, piece of tack or something like that. Something like that. You would know what their search term was and then how they ended up on your page. But you have to have both of those tags working together.
Okay.
Let me jump into this, Jolene, on the organic side of things. So this is where organic and paid really go hand in hand. So what Jeff's talking about, like, we have to have some traffic getting to our page and watching our content in the first place, then we can retarget them, we can make lookalike audiences, all the things. So I would say the thing I love most about the Western industry is their love of collaboration. Like Megan, I know you were on here yesterday. I ran into her at the NFR multiple times. She's a Western influencer. The collaboration is strong in the Western side of things. There's a great Facebook group, and there's a million of them, but I'll just tell you, Western Runway is a great one. It's a magazine that we used to own. Now a friend owns it. There's a wonderful community there. Allie D has another wonderful like group of Western people that are all together. but introduce yourself there, start collaborating with people, drive content, memes, engagement, behind the scenes of building your brand, all of that content to those groups of people, run a giveaway together, collaborate with them. The more you can get the organic side of things going and really like targeting and becoming friends with those people, DMing them on Instagram, sharing reels that are similar to what they're sharing, like all of those things are telling Facebook and Instagram every day, here's who my target market is. Then they're organically going to start to show your content to more people. You're going to show up on the Discover feed, and then you're going to fill your pixel, like Jeff's saying, so we can retarget and run ads to more people just like that. But you've got to start with the organic side of the content you're using and the collaborations that you're hosting every single day.
And just one more thing on that. Don't get discouraged. I know we talked about like the top of the funnel, that big net yesterday, and then kind of getting people into the middle of the funnel today. Don't get discouraged about how long that takes.
Right.
Like it can take a while. It can take a while for them to develop that trust, to get to know you, to develop, to learn your brand. You just have to stick with it. And so don't get discouraged between that time delay between those two layers. It's not something that happens overnight.
Okay. Yeah, and I do really well at shows, but people seem to see what I have on Facebook or on my site and they don't buy it there. They come find me at the show and say, oh, I saw what you posted. Let me look at it. And so I'm trying to make if my website would come up a little, it would cut down on the shows that I had to do. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Well, just stay consistent, stay in front of those people. It will come up a little. You just have to stay in front of them.
Thank you.
I just want to add, this is one thing I love about the Boutique Hub community. Jolene, as you talked about who you were, the chats on both Facebook and here in Zoom with other people in the Zoom room and on Facebook right now, they're like, hey, that's me. I work in that industry too. And I saw it when somebody was asking a question earlier about a different type of retail business too. That's the one thing about the Boutique Hub community that I just think is so dang powerful, that you are surrounded by other businesses kind of going through a lot of the same things you are. So I love it.
Agree. It's nice.
Those of you guys who are Western, I just see Kelsey, I see your comment. Shoot Jolene a message. You guys drop your email addresses, shoot each other a DM while the chat is still up here on Zoom, and get together. Do a giveaway.
Definitely.
Share.
Well, we just went to Vegas and set up at a trade show there. And before that, I got in the event and tried to get people to share my page. I'd share their page. We'll tag some products and collab. And only 2 or 3 did it because I think they were afraid. I don't know if they thought I don't know what they thought I was trying to do, but they got really quiet. But then once I got there and met them, it was okay, but it's too late then. So I'm always glad to do that.
Perfect. All right, let's go on. Marissa Simpson.
Hello. Yes, you got it correct. Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. My computer's being crazy. I'm trying to show you me so I don't just look like weird, but maybe. Okay, there we go. So I work as a marketer for Spoiled Rotten Boutique. My boss is actually on here, so hello, Miss Shannon. But she got me this planner, and I love it. But she was letting me know like how we do our Instagram and our Facebook post. We post everything at the same time. Should I be posting like Instagram whenever it's active on Instagram or at different times? How should I do that?
Oh, I love this question. Okay, so first question though, are they connected? Are you sharing directly from Instagram to Facebook, or are you making 2 separate posts intentionally?
I'm putting them together.
Okay, so
like you can share on platforms.
Yeah, so whatever you're posting on Instagram is also being shared on Facebook. Connected. And are you going in and are you editing the post on Facebook after you post it? No. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So here, when I do audits, when I do e-commerce audits and social media audits, I see this all the time. So I'm so glad you asked this question because I bet 90% of people here might be doing the same thing. So Facebook and Instagram are 2 very different platforms when it comes to the style of the description of your post and how they look and react to links. So your post on Instagram is probably some cute little caption. It's maybe a call to action. You probably have the product tag. Maybe you have some hashtags, right? But there's not like a, hey girl, like snag it right here, ships within 24 hours from our warehouse in Ohio, or I'm not sure where you guys are at. I've heard of your boutique. I can't remember where you're from. So when you share that to Facebook, your description looks all janky because it's doesn't have a proper call to action. The spacing's probably off. You probably have these ugly hashtags that don't matter on Facebook, right? And then you're just hoping that your tag works and people can find the product. So I think they're two different things. If you have to do it to save time and link them together, fine. But that means you immediately need to go in and edit every single Facebook post once it happens. To me, that seems like a headache. So I would much rather go into my Meta suite and go in and pre-schedule all of my posts exactly how I want them on Facebook. I can do a link call to action. I can tag my products. I can make my description a little bit longer. I can use a lot of emojis. I won't have any hashtags, all those things. And then same on Instagram. I would just make that a separate post as well. The content can be the same in both places, but the style in which you post it is different in both places. Is that
Okay, so like matching the demographic, because we have an older demographic on Facebook and younger on Instagram. So just match that.
Yeah. So
Okay, thank you.
If you know your demographic's different though, maybe there's different quotes and memes. Maybe there's a different way that you're showing or a different model that you're showing things with. I mean, to me, that's something you would test and you would iterate on if you know it's slightly different.
Okay, we also, so we have about I think it's like 1,600 followers, and we only get like 30 likes at most. And that's on our like giveaway, big deal this week. How do we push that? And we're constantly posting. How do we push that to where people actually respond?
So perfect tie-in question. So when you think about what you're like, how you're posting it on social, your goal is how do I get people to take whatever they're thinking in their head and type it out in their fingers, right? And actually comment on my post and engage with it. So to me, like the ability to use questions in those posts that you're making is huge because people automatically have to answer a question like in their brain the second they see it. So when you're using questions in a lot of those posts, people are much more likely to actually respond. But I would take that a step further and say in the quality of what you're posting, I could nerd out on this whole thing. Okay. In the quality of what you're posting, we have this whole method in Retail Bootcamp called VAVA, V-A-V-A. So the first V is viral. Does the content that I just posted have the opportunity to go viral? And all that means, I don't mean like TikTok viral and 1 million people viewing it. I just mean, if I saw this on my own, would I actually like and comment on it? Or is this boring? I love your, florals for spring, groundbreaking, don't care. I need something a little bit better than that if I'm actually going to engage with it. So does this have an opportunity to go viral? Next, is it authentic? So am I just showing products or am I actually showing stuff that's behind the scenes and real and it's raw and it's me trying to tuck my mommy belly into my jeans like we've seen so many people do? So VA, the next V is value. Does this content provide any value? Am I smarter for looking at it? Am I funnier for looking at it? Like what's the value? Did I save money by looking at this? Where's the win in it for me? And then finally, it's aspirational. So like I talked about, if I'm a typical boutique shopper and I love shoulder pads, I'm probably not going to shop at Walmart. So is this well merchandised? Is it a well-lit photo? Does it take my idea of my style up a notch? Or is this a boring stock photo that looks like everyone else who's drop shipping right now? So everything you post on social has to cross that VAVA in my mind. That's my checklist. But then I would also say your reach is typically a lot lower on a Facebook page than it is in a group or it is on Instagram. So your ratio to what engagement you're getting to your followers isn't super relevant anymore because it's low for everybody. But I will tell you, those of you who have Facebook groups, it's 30% higher in a Facebook group than it is on a page. So it makes groups super duper valuable. That was a lot, but I feel like a total nerd. I could go all day on that topic. Hopefully it was helpful.
Yes, thank you so much.
You bet. All right, Haley.
Hey, so I have a question on collections. So, like as an online boutique, do you have like a tab on the menu that you display your collections on? And then how long do you leave them there? Like obviously some are seasonal, but are there some that you leave like all year or?
Yeah, such a good question. So some of your collections, like let's just say back to school or basics or some things that are denim, right? Denim related or trend related have just a longer shelf life and can show up there a lot longer than your 4th of July collection can. or your St. Patty's Day collection can. So when you're doing that strategy of mapping out your next 3 months of content, it's called the 3 layers deep method. I talk about it on the podcast and in boot camp and lots of places. I would just map out when I do my collection that I'm featuring every week. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a new one every week. Like I may take that back to basics collection and like just like run a marker through 4 weeks saying this is how long it's going to be. And then of course, when I'm doing my buying plan, I'm also making sure I have enough inventory on hand for something that's got more shelf life too. So keep them fresh. If you need some great ideas, you guys, Nordstrom, Old Navy, The Gap, Zara, like all the big box stores do a really great job with seasonal collections. So those are great places to get influence as well, besides all the ones that we have listed out for you guys in the handbook. Okay, Omara.
Hello, I'm so excited. Everyone, thank you. I feel like I'm fangirling right now because I've listened to your podcast and I have so many questions about everything, but I'm going to try to keep it concise. So I just started my boutique 6 months ago after many years of wanting it to happen. And so I went to my first market in August, and I had all these ideas about who my customer was, what she's going to love. And of course, all of that failed. Not 100%, but just like to the point where I'm a little trigger shy right now as I go into the next season for 20 in Atlanta. I already booked. I'll be there at the Atlanta show. I had some success these 6 months, but my point is, the things that I really got excited about that I thought my customers would really love, they didn't respond to them as much as more of my more basic styles or styles that I felt were like safe, and I bought them just to see. They surprised me by purchasing those, and the ones that I thought were like amazing, they didn't really love. So I'm feeling like a little disconnected between me, myself, and my eye, which is the reason why I started this, and who my current customer is. So how do I like, I feel like I'm split. What's a good way to not like, I still want to find my ideal customer, like my people, but so far I have some really great gals that love what they purchased from me, and I'm loving on them and making sure that they come back, and it's been great. But deep down, I feel like I'm still not fully expressing where I would love to be as a boutique. So what suggestions do you have for that?
Ashley, do you mind if I jump in?
Go ahead, Sarah.
All right. So one of the things I would say is, one, your customers are telling you what they want, what's missing in their life, what they need, right? Like what's completing them. They're telling you that by what they're purchasing. Is it always the most fun and exciting thing? Not necessarily. But that doesn't mean you can't sprinkle some of that in and introduce a few of those things. It may be that when you do, you have to up-level that confidence and break down some of their concerns about those items and show them how that's going to fit into their life, how, it's going to make them feel, all those 3 things that we talked about earlier today, as it's going to up-level their quality of life, right? Mm-hmm. So bringing that up and center to them. But at the same time, I would ask if you've got a handful of customers that haven't bought that you thought might. I love a small round group table. Let's go to coffee. Let's chat it up. I love getting my people in the dressing room or in the store, and they go in and they're trying on the basics because that's what they came in for. And I say something like, hey, Amara, would you please try on this blazer? I think it would be amazing on you, right? I just got it in. I haven't had it on anybody else yet. I just would love to know how it feels. How do you feel in it? And no pressure, but then they can like respond back. And then when they say, oh gosh, I have no idea where I'd ever wear this, right? This is what my life is like. I spend it on the AAU court. I do this. I go to garden parties. I do these kind of things, but that right there, that blazer, I just don't know where I'd ever wear it. And then when you can say, Sarah, actually, when you and Jacob went and did that, whatever you saw me do on Facebook last month, I think this would have been perfect. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, Absolutely. That would have been perfect. So that's a really good way to, you know, get that through to your customer. And, you know, for those of you online are saying, well, I don't have that ability to have those kind of conversations. That's
Which
how
is me. I
Yep.
forgot to mention. I'm
Okay.
online and I've been doing pop-ups. I do great at pop-ups because I'm that friend that I'm like, try it on. You have to try it on.
Yep.
Just do it. And they buy. In person on the pop-ups, it's been great. Online, and I'm like on Instagram, I'm on lives. I'm like, you guys, this is amazing. Look, it's shiny. It's so beautiful. I know it's crazy looking, but just trust me. It's free shipping. Oh, you can return it back to me if you don't love it. Like, I do all that stuff just to kind of like build that
Yep.
that same experience that you're mentioning about the dressing room. Like, I wish I did. I don't have it yet. So
One other thing on that, one other thing that to ease that in an online setting is maybe the full on glitz and glam idea is too much. So maybe you take the layering piece with your casual blazer, or maybe you take the blazer with the casual underpiece, right? And then you do in your photos, you show how the versatility of the item. The versatility of an item can really upsell that and encourage that customer to have more confidence in the purchase, because in a brick and mortar setting, I would do the exact same. If somebody just presented this teal velvet blazer to me with, you know, a satin undershirt and a pair of really fancy dress pants, I'm going to say, I'm on Zoom meetings 99% of the day. I do not need all of those things. But if somebody came to me and says, hey, you can put a t-shirt under this and wear it with your, you know, your denim jeans and dress it down, all of a sudden that relates back into my lifestyle. And then when I turn around and see Amara post a picture of this all glitz and glammed, I'm like, heck yeah, that would have been a perfect New Year's Eve blazer, right? But so I meet them where they are. If they are pushing basics, meet them where they are, introduce and drip it in and help them understand how it can fit into their lifestyle. So that would be my number one. Number two, I just want to tell you, back to the basics is a huge trend for 2024. It is a huge, huge trend. So maybe you want to just keep that in mind as
writing that down for market for Atlanta. Calm down.
There you go.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I had one other thing. Surrounding that, I love curvy women. I think they're amazing. I want to like advocate for more curvy outfits for everyone. I personally am not a curvy person. I have really great girlfriends who are. And so, you know, unfortunately, when I do my lives and I'm trying stuff on, I have plus curvy items and I'm like, guys, you gotta try this. And I have a few who will try it on for me, but they're camera shy and they're like not available for my lives. So like I need, like, what resources would you say I could find to get just some local people that I can have them try on so they can have the trust that this is going to be a great product as well? Because like that's the struggle that I'm having right now, because I want to carry more curvy, but I'm not selling as well in curvy. So what do you think?
I love exactly what people are saying. Plus size influencers, ask your friends, ask your customers, make it known to your customers that are plus size and say, hey, I want to serve this market better. But this is what I need. How can you help me? I want to be a voice. I want to go to market. I want to source the products. I want to bring you what you need. How can, but I need that plus size model. I need that person, the people that can help me show it, because let's be honest, you can get a plus size body form, but it doesn't always convert, right? When you have a plus size model in something moving and wearing it and talking about how the coverage and the fit and the feel and all of those things, that's where the sales come in. So yeah, I like what people are saying. Just keep asking. You might be told no 100 times, but don't stop asking. That is a very hungry market. You'll find someone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you. Guys, I know Jeff has to hop off here in just a second. Sarah and I are able to stay on and do some more Q&A. So if we can just like give a thumbs up and a thank you to Jeff for being with us today. He'll be back on tomorrow. He's got a lot to talk about tomorrow. So you'll want to show up and definitely take part in all of that. Thanks, Jeff, for being here.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, we've got time for just a couple more Q's and A's. And then if you didn't, last chance to enter today's giveaway, I'm just going to get a text message, I think, in a minute with the winners. If you didn't post this on Instagram, this is your reminder. Okay, Mel, I know I called in you earlier and then I lost you in the shuffle somewhere. Mel, are you ready?
Yes. So my new phone had me muted on the settings, so I couldn't talk to you. And I was like, no. I have kind of a weird question. It kind of goes back to average order value. I started out online and doing pop-ups, but then I had the opportunity to get into Painted Tree, which is kind of your own little space within a big giant space. And so I at first was holding all of the smaller items and they were doing well, but we recently had issues with theft. And so I took out a lot of my smaller items because I was like spending more to keep them than I was to sell them, I guess is the right way to say that. And so I'm wondering, is there a way to formula theft into your pricing or anything like that? Or am I just kind of SOL on holding extra items in that store because I don't have full control other than my security cameras?
That is a really good question. And I see a couple other people in the chat that also set up at Painted Tree. Okay, so here's the thing. Yes, you can account for some theft, and I would definitely encourage you to, run the numbers. Do you know what percent what you're losing in the loss from theft?
So thankfully I pulled it out before it became a giant problem. I know there was some other stores that were just kind of sticking it out in there and they had a lot more significant theft. But thankfully it was only like, I don't know, 2% when it was happening. And so I pulled everything and redid it so that I can make sure that the security tags that they provide for us would account for the items that I had left in my store. So my smaller things can't be clipped or punched into. And so that's why I pulled them all.
Okay, well, that's good. Good job on that. The second thing, anytime when you guys do your physical count inventory at the end of the year, whenever you do it, you definitely make note of your theft and report that in when you do your books with your accounting.
Okay, I'm actually heading up to do that today. So
awesome.
That's helpful.
Yes. Make sure you are accounting for that. But gosh, I mean, you're doing the right things, taking action, removing those items, protecting yourself the way you can. This is part of the risk of setting up anywhere. It's part of the risk of having products. So I guess my thought on that is protect yourself every way you can in merchandising, trying not to put those easy to grab items in risky spots. But yeah, when you see an issue, fix it. It sounds like you've done that. And the best thing you can do right now is just go ahead and make sure you're accounting for that, making sure you're taking that inventory out of your numbers and just putting yourself in the best possible light for it does not happen again. But yeah, that's a risk that we all take. I also would this is a whole separate conversation, but I'm not sure what your contract looks like there as far as your insurance goes. Definitely looking at that shrinkage and the theft and seeing what your, this doesn't sound like a huge game changer issue, but, potentially could be, and making sure you're protected that way.
Okay, yeah. I know that they brought in new scan systems so that when they leave out the door, it picks up more of what the security tags that they had us using were, and they did change to having the sticker tags, which made a big difference. But I guess one of my biggest questions is with the average order value, is there any way, because I can't really build an entire outfit. I do my best to build my mannequins and those sell really well. All the items off of the mannequins really do well. But when I'm building an outfit on a mannequin, I can't have all of the jewelry or the hats and all that stuff because it won't stay in my spot.
Yeah. Yeah, that is tough. That is really, really tough. And I would like to say that if there was a way that you could, like I'm thinking of the big department stores when they have those really big rings attached to the back of a necklace, that if you go to try to lift it off, you have to have somebody unlock it. But I don't know if that's you're willing and wanting to take those. There's a lot of different step measures that you can add on to, but at the same time, yeah, that's you're
it's
also
hard
for somebody else. Yeah. So sounds like you've got some of the tabs on things that are your higher items, bigger protection. Maybe it's just this is not the place for those those smaller add-ons unless you do it behind a box that somebody is going to have to go in and get.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, last year, I just started bringing the smaller items to any of the bigger pop-ups that I knew I was going to continue to go to after putting all my stuff into Painted because it's hard for me to hold both inventories. But I was like, okay, at least I have my bigger pop-ups that most of my regulars come to, and I can provide them with this experience. But with the store, I can't get my average order value up at the store because I'm unable to hold the extra things.
Yeah, and the only something that just popped into my mind, and I've seen this happen I actually have seen this happen in wine and cheese stores. So this is why I'm saying maybe for you. Oop, not sure. Sorry, but wine and cheese stores, they'll do QR codes for pairings. So if I'm buying a wine, I can scan the wine and it'll do a QR code for, I don't know what's going on here. There we go. It'll do a QR code for what would pair with that wine, right? So maybe you do like a small QR code next to the item that somebody could scan and it'll immediately take them to the accessories that would go well with that item.
Oh yeah, or like, because I don't really have any contact with them through the Painted side, I could just use the barcode for accessories to that item to take them to my website.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, actually. I do like that idea.
And use photography as your upsell. Signage is your silent seller. So make sure you've got great signage and you've got some beautiful photography of fully merchandised outfits to go along with what you're already displaying.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you for taking my time.
Yeah, you bet.
I'm sorry I was muted before.
No. Okay, I have a giveaway winner. Are you guys good? You want to know who it is? Thanks, Beth, for sending this my way. Hopefully she's still on. Paradise Boutique. Paradise Boutique is the winner. Thanks for tagging both the Hub and AJ Alderson on Instagram. We'll send you a message on Instagram and get your address. Yay, you're on. Perfect. So we'll get your address so we can ship you your prize. So we've got our Sephora prize tomorrow, and I may have a little add-on that I'll throw in, but you've got to be here tomorrow to do those giveaway prizes. Okay, we've got time for probably one more question. Tailored trends. Tailored trends.
Oh, we're here. Hi. Okay. I was like hoping and praying you would call on us because I have several different questions. Let me go to my, okay. Let's start with the one from today, the AOV. So right now our AOV is $65. And our free shipping currently is $150. So we were like toying with the idea of doing either, would it be best to do 75 because then they would add on something else and then it would end up being like $80, or do we do 100 and it be like 100, like what, I don't know. We're toying with the idea and I don't know how to make that decision. So that's question number one.
Okay, let's talk about that one first. Ashley, did you want to add something?
Yeah, Sarah, go ahead if you've got it.
Well, first, I would ask, how do I know it's 150? What are you doing to tell me as a consumer that's 150? Because that's a big gap. If people are specifically paying 60, but to get free shipping, they need to be 150. That's a large gap. So I'm wondering, what are you doing to tell me?
Right. I mean, I don't know. I think it was just a guessing number. Okay. because so I'm in a year, what are we? Three. We just celebrated 2. So we're going into year number 3 and it's kind of been a guessing game for me from the start with the knowledge that I had and coming through. So I don't know. I think I just kind of just guessed and decided like we're going to try. And I did have it at 100 before, but I didn't understand all the numbers. So now I'm getting a better handle on the number strategy. So that's why I'm not sure how to decide whether we should amp it up or leave it or where to go from there.
So one of my things I would say is when you run your numbers, like what is your sales goal? And then if your average order value does fall at $100 for that free shipping, what does that look like as far as all the traffic and the conversions that you need to have? Does that feel more manageable? And where you're running at 60 right now, which I'm sure it's going to, right? Like it's going to feel more manageable to you. Do you have the inventory in-house to run that? But I guess one of the things is either whether it's 100 or 150, what is one of the things I would look at is what is that communication to the shopper? So when I put something in my cart and I'm checking out, do I know that I'm $30, $20 away from potential free shipping? Do you have that threshold there? Do you have a communication there? That's one really easy way to get that consumer to be like, oh shoot, so I'm this close. Let me go back and grab something else to get my free shipping.
Yeah, I think with adding on sorry, I've got two of my girls with me. I think adding on, now that we've added on more accessories and not just certain items, like having a full outfit, I think having both of those, like being able to add on, is going to help that threshold. And on Shopify, I haven't been able to figure out how to add on, like, I think it's on there. I don't really know, but I think it's on there where it shows the threshold if they're able to get to the.
Yeah, I'm curious for everybody that's in the chat, drop in the chat like what you're using for your upsell, cross-sell apps, and then also your free shipping notification.
Good idea.
A lot of people are using different things. Okay, yes. So that's your first question. What was your second question?
Okay, second question was for Jeff, and it was about yesterday. We'll get back to that. Okay. It was the GA4. I tried to go on and get everything set up, but I think I used the wrong email. I have a support email, and then I have my email, and then it got set up as my email, but I think it should have been the support. So I think there's a whole mess, and I might need to do a one-on-one with somebody. And also the locations, I tried to update the location because we have a warehouse and we have a store. And right now we're causing a lot of confusion with where's our local pickup, where's the store. People will come to our warehouse thinking it's the store. And then people will go to the store thinking that that's where they pick up, and it's opposite. And we're in two different towns right next to each other. So it's a good 10, 15, 12 minutes to get to either place. So trying to update those locations on Google has not been my friend. I can't figure it out for the life of me. So that was something. And then I think that was all the other questions.
How to know the trends.
Oh, and resources on knowing what is coming up and what we should be looking for, because I think I've looked through so many things that I don't even know what to believe or know what to look for.
Okay. Sorry about that, but I can tell you, so the Boutique Hub puts out a trend report, and they put it out for every season. So we had planned to get it put out. It's coming out January 22nd, which is in the magic of things. So a couple of the things that we're really seeing though, bows are big. Sequins are continuing to be big. Button downs, the blouse game is still really strong. That basic, lots of back to basics. People are really introducing a little bit more of that as like dress wear, but it looks like your casual. This is where the button down blouse is really coming in. Florals are big. Suitings, we're seeing that on color blocking suitings, all of the matching, or even a little bit into that feminine menswear is what they're calling it. And then oversized everything. I say that as a child of the 80s and 90s. I'm like, here we go, Adam Sandler. Let's bring it, the oversized look. And then something else is we're seeing a ton of is sheer. A lot of sheer things. So those are just a few. The trend report is going to be bigger and more involved than that. Lots more involved in that with your shoes, home decor and gift, colors, graphics, all the different things. So yeah, be looking for that coming soon.
I also
go ahead.
Quick. I dropped in a link for you guys, hubventory.com/boards. Our team has been going haywire making trend boards. A bunch of these will coincide with the trend report that's coming up. So we've got a bunch of boards that we haven't launched yet that will on this page I just shared with you. That'll be like all of your favorite vendors that are at shows or on any wholesale site like Hubventory. all their products that fit with those trends. So red, like all the things that have been really popular on those boards as well.
So to go with that, I would say a couple of years ago, you would want to follow what the larger influencers are doing. To say like Stanley, you know, it took one person, a female, to buy Stanley and talk about it and show it and all of that. And now Stanley is doing millions of dollars. So is it worth us smaller boutiques to look at what those larger influencers are doing to kind of go off, like to spin off of that into our smaller community?
Yeah, I think we all as smaller boutiques have to do research. The trend reports are great, but what the influencers are doing, or just if you have a like to know it account, if you have the app, I love following people on like to know it because I do think that's very telling of where things are going. I'm a little bit more leery of now as a small boutique, should you collaborate with those influencers who want 10 grand a post? No, I don't think it's worth it. I think micro influencers are where it's at, but use them for market research. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. And then are we going to touch on TikTok shops at all? Is that in tomorrow, or is that a different video or anything like that?
Shoot your TikTok shops question. I'm sure lots of people would love to know. We hit on it yesterday, but
yes. Okay, so we saw an insane increase in TikTok shops for us last year. So that's something that we're looking to do more of in 2024 and less app lives, because it just seems like I'm wasting a lot of time focusing on lives on Instagram and Facebook when I can go live and do smaller videos on TikTok and etc. Would that decrease my brand is I guess my question, because I'm very I'm changing things up for 2024 because I feel like I was just kind of all over the place for the last 2 years, and I'm really honing in on my customer, what they're looking for, and things like that. And I've found a lot of new customers on TikTok shop, but I don't want that to hinder the brand awareness and you know what I mean.
Oh man, Sarah and I could talk a mile about this. I think the answer to this question is different for everybody. There's a lot of pros, there's a lot of cons. You have to decide what is most manageable for you specifically. There's things about TikTok I love. I love short form video. I love TikTok as brain candy. I love so much about the content strategy of TikTok and that it's a much younger customer, which I think looks perfect for you, right? And then you can take that content on TikTok, use it on Reels, reuse it on YouTube Shorts. You can reuse it on Pinterest. It'll pull for Google Perspectives now. So there's a lot of value to being there. But on shops specifically, man, I've seen some people crush it. But again, that's like a common 30% return rate. And I jokingly but seriously say sometimes it comes back smelling like kitty litter. And you just don't know and you're screwed, right? So I would say tread lightly, tread with caution, because there's a lot of really big boutiques I know that woke up one day and their TikTok was gone for no reason. So maybe the sun shines if it's for you, but do not put all of your eggs in that basket. Diversify, build your Facebook audience, build your Instagram audience, continue to go live there, because the power of running Facebook and Instagram ads is far more powerful than it is on TikTok right now. I've seen people blow a crap ton of money in TikTok ads and it not really work for them. So again, pros and cons, you know, whatever you think is worth your time, but tread with caution.
Okay. I think that's it. I can, I guess, message Jeff about the GA4. What's the next resource on that? Because I don't know what to do.
Ask the question tomorrow. Drop it in chat right away and tag Jeff tomorrow. He'll be back here tomorrow.
Yep. Okay, great. Thank y'all so much.
You bet. All right. Oh, you guys are awesome. So many good questions today. I know Sarah and I both have to go to another function today, so we're going to jump off. If you did not get your question answered, please jump in tomorrow. Raise your hand, drop the question in chat. We'll try to get to as many as we can, but hopefully everyone got some value out of all this. Last thing I want to mention, those of you still thinking retail bootcamp, the $100 off for retail bootcamp, I believe ends tomorrow. So if you had the email with all of the code, it's either tonight at midnight or it's tomorrow, the fast acting bonus with $100 off. The code is RBCFast24. Beth, is that right? Drop it in the chat. It's tonight. Okay, thank you. So just so you know, that is happening. There is still, though, if you're still thinking about it, you're weighing the 4-part payment plan on Retail Boot Camp. There are some other bonuses that come with it. We've got a couple of handbooks, the hiring bundle, some of those other things that go along with joining boot camp this round. Okay, anything else? Sarah, you want to jump in and add before I forget?
Oh my gosh, no, I just want to give a shout out to Beth in the comments again. She has been, her fingers have been typing, answering everybody's questions. Great questions, great interaction. I'm loving all of it. I did drop, for those of you guys that are a Hub member, I saw some comments saying, oh my gosh, I did not know I had access to that. I did not know the Hub membership provided that. I also dropped a link. We do a onboarding webinar every week for just this type of thing. So I dropped that on how to register. If you guys have questions, please find me on Facebook, message me there. You can email me at sarah@theboutiquehub.com too, but quick Facebook message to me is really the fastest way to get me. And I'm happy to chat with you as well. So I know there's a lot of leftover hands up. We just don't have enough time to get to absolutely everything. So here to help.
All right, awesome day. Hope to see you guys tomorrow. Last day is the best day. We'll have some surprises in store. So have a great rest of your day. You guys, see you tomorrow. Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.